Hello, good evening, and welcome to Midweek Mix-Up Podcast. I am your host, WandrinDutch, and we are live with episode 40. And this week, we are glad to be back with, thankfully, now done and dusted completely, be able to cover all of the shows top to bottom and give our final impressions on how E3 went, not just from a perspective of, let's say, just Xbox conference, but also where the other developers lied, such as Nintendo, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Capcom, etc. But before we get into the real meat of it, let's get our introductions done. So first and foremost, we have a new panel member eventually making his debut today, and that is Mr. Hertog Vin, who joins us on a part. We say part time; it is permanent, but due to work schedule, he's about. I think it's 3 on, 3 off. Is it not? 3 on, 2 off. Yes. What have you been playing then on the build up to the Hot Tub Dreamcast? Definitely too much energy. Audio, right? Well, let's get that sorted. I know what the problem will be. Sometimes it just. Oh, there we go. Everyone wants. Yeah.
Oh no, it's every time he's using
There we
OBS.
go.
That's
There we
the
go.
problem.
All good
Use
now,
OBS.
chaps. All good now. You should be able to hear everybody. Vin, if you want to let everybody know, just where they can find you, and with regard to your hot tub extravaganza with Dreamcasts involved.
It's on twitch.tv/HertogVinX, like here. Only then without the spaces, because Twitch doesn't allow spaces, same as PlayStation. And I started streaming Skies of Arcadia this morning. A lot of people asked for it because I talk too much about it. So I bought this adapter from Amazon for €8, and now I can connect my Dreamcast to the laptop.
Yeah.
I started streaming that. And yesterday we started with, of course, the Sea of Thieves expansion. The best game, still the best game on Xbox for me, to be honest. And the update's perfect. Jack Sparrow and the whole Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, the music, all the voices, Johnny Depp, everything is in. And I started Octopath Traveler.
Yes.
Recommendation
Awesome
from
game.
you and my brother Drew. That's I'm also working on. It's a good game. Really like the pace and the art style.
What's your main character?
Obelisk or something.
Alberic.
Alberic, yeah, something
the
like that.
warrior, yeah.
Yeah, the warrior. And I've got two extra characters now. The merchant girl and the what's it called? Teacher or something?
Yes, I know which.
The cleric.
Yes, the cleric.
Is that the cleric? Yeah. Those two I have in my team now. I really enjoy the game so far, but it's not Skies of Arcadia. So Skies of Arcadia is still the best game ever. I'm gonna keep mentioning it
until you get it. Just keep mentioning until you get it. Yeah, it'll work someday. You never know. Never know.
No.
Stuff. And next up, Patya. How are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Is my mic on? Yeah, it's on. Okay. Well, uh, worked a half day today, and my vacation has started. So that's one of the first good things that happened today. And I got my first vaccination as well. Same counts for pink vibes or tomorrow. So yeah, um, feel good. Nothing, nothing terrible going on or something. Uh, been playing some Watch Dogs Legion. Big shout out to Marion because this guy, I don't know, he's crazy, but he's so generous, and I really like the game, man. So Marion, thank you again for gifting me uh, Watch Dogs Legion this time. So yeah, big shout out to you. And uh, yeah, I'll be for sure I'll be hopping on some Sea of Thieves, but just hearing the experience that the guys had yesterday with the second part or something.
Dr. Ekman.
Is I'll wait for the update. So
It seems I think it seems just there's a little few initial kind of teething issues with it,
yeah.
but Chris didn't seem to have any issues though. He was playing wonderfully with Colt, Dealer, Dodge, with pirate accents included, uh, for several hours yesterday, prior to going on to the RDX podcast. So we'll transition nicely into Chris. How are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
I'm good, thanks, mate. It's the first time I've played something in a couple of weeks. Really, I've just been busy with work. But yeah, Sea of Thieves is awesome. Yeah, we maintained like 3 hours of pirate voice, and then I went on RDX, and then woke up this morning and my voice had almost gone. So it's thankfully it's back. Um, but yeah, awesome. I'm not quite sure we got as far as like some of the other guys who've ran into a couple of problems. We did fail to navigate a bit. Daj in the chat can't sail a boat, can't steer a boat, can't drive a boat. Was crashing into rocks and whatnot. Basically, the ship just didn't have the staff. We couldn't get like no one was manning the sails or anything, so it was it was a good laugh. Um, and then the only other thing I've been playing is Chivalry 2, which is absolutely awesome. I reckon everyone should grab
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I haven't
basically
tried that
just
yet.
like
Is any
a
good?
64 player battlefield with swords and spears and bow and arrow, crossbow, you name it. But it's just got some amazing like battle cries and stuff. They've just recorded loads of kind of I don't know, like a mixture of North, Middle English, Southern English, and you've just got like people swearing and shouting stuff as they run into battle, which is good. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Like combat's really good. It's quite kind of simple in its kind of gameplay, but you can obviously one of those where you can master it. You start blocking and parrying people and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that game. It's awesome.
Great.
Nice.
Next up, we have our good friend Boxenberger. And disclaimer before we go any further: in about 35 minutes, he may be in and out of consciousness as he watches the Germany game.
That might indeed happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, how are you doing today, brother? Anyway, what you been up?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I've been busy with a lot of work. With my actual job, not my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Been, yeah, been. I don't know if I should call it promoted. Been working on a task
I was going to
force.
say, given more work to do.
Given more work to do. It's a great opportunity career-wise, but it's been stressful. And it's going to continue to be stressful. But yeah, in the evenings, I've played a couple of games to just relax. I tried out Dark Alliance the other day. It isn't as bad as the reviews say. You can tell it's not a triple A game. It has some bugs and um, yeah, the combat can be a little bit clunky, but I had a lot of fun actually playing it. And since it's in Game Pass, there's no reason not to try it. I've been also replaying Metro Exodus again. Um, super awesome game. It was already awesome, but now with the enhanced patch on the Series X with ray tracing at 60 FPS, the game looks and plays absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, and over the weekend I finished Ratchet and Clank on the PS5. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, and sometimes in between or during boring Skype calls or team calls, I also play a little bit of Octopath Traveler via xCloud. To be honest, that's
Oh,
pretty awesome. That game, I'm totally hooked.
probably the
Like
perfect game as well to play on xCloud, I would imagine.
it's perfect. It's perfect since it's turn-based. You don't really care for the latency things, and it's perfect to play on your phone with the art style. It looks beautiful on a smaller screen. Well, it looks beautiful on a big screen, but it's perfect for xCloud. So yeah, I'm like 60 hours into the game now. Yeah, that's my game
Oh,
that I
60.
really play between everything else. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. And last but not least, we have Holly from Red Dwarf here this week. So it's a pleasure to have you on, Holly. How are you doing today?
Not bad, but he's dead, Daj. Everybody is dead. That's all I can say. No, I'm good. Just had a general normal week, working wise, whatnot. Gaming. I've had a varied week gaming. I got back onto Metro again. That is amazing with the new update, and the sound with Dolby Atmos is probably the best I've heard from that point of view. What
I
else been
second
playing?
that. It
Just
sounds fantastic.
yeah, having the Dolby Atmos and like shooting a bullet down like a long corridor and just hearing it echo all the way down is pretty amazing. Really, really good. What else have I done? Zombie Army 4 with a friend. I did a bit of Octopath Traveler as well. I'm like 14 hours in, I think. And again, yeah, it's just an easy game to pick up and put down. Especially with
Take it in bite-sized chunks. It's unlike another Final Fantasy game. It's a lot easier to just go, because they've got so many little save points here and there as well. You can just go, okay, I'll get to this next section, save, and then you can kind of tell there and then, do I want to continue for a little bit longer or just put it down?
I'm at the moment. I'm going around all the first chapters of my characters,
Collecting them all.
collecting them. I think I'm at the point now where I might be going on to the second, so I need to just grind a couple of levels out to make sure I'm all right. But I started with what's the name of the character? The Hunter.
Oh yes,
Is it Han? Is it Han or something like that?
Yes, yeah, I think that's right.
Hanit or something. I don't know
Yes,
how
Hanit.
to pronounce
That's
it
the
properly.
one. Yeah.
Hanit, yeah. So it started out as that with them. But yeah, it's a cool little game. I've not played a turn-based game in well over a decade, really, and not one that I've kind of played and enjoyed. So it's nice to get back into it. I'm trying to think of what else I've played. I've played some other. Oh, I've played a bit of Streets of Rage as well. I just decided to fire that up and crack out.
I'd be up for some co-op on Streets of Rage. I haven't played that for a little while. It's always more fun when you're playing co-op on that game.
Yeah, it's just a shame that they didn't have online servers to do 4 players. You can have 4 players couch, but not 4 players online.
Bit weird.
Yeah.
It's the same with Battletoads, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Battletoads also has only couch co-op. But with COVID, it would have been perfect to just release an online patch so everybody can play together online.
Yeah, you would think so anyway.
Yeah. It would, it'd been good. Oh yeah, that's just what I've been playing. Sea of Thieves, the new expansion. I didn't think I'd hit any major bugs, but I was just running through the second level with my brother, just getting some collectibles, and we got to a pit where the puzzle didn't update, so I couldn't go any further.
Right. Okay.
Which is a bit.
Did you mention that was the second level again?
Yeah, it's the second level. There's a bit where you've got to do some siren puzzles.
Spoilers.
The water levels go high. It's not really.
It's a spoiler for anyone who hasn't played it. No,
and when you get to the top, you've got to hit like a glowing thing so you can go through to the next bubble. And the glowing thing didn't light up, so I couldn't progress. And then somebody decided, a randomer decided to kill me So me and my brother spent the next 20 minutes just continually spawn killing him.
Awesome.
Wow.
Did
That
they
sounds fun.
didn't kill you like in the mission though? Did they kill you when you went back to your ship? Or
No, I was in the mission. I was in the middle of the puzzle.
that's
Oh.
weird because it shouldn't be other players in the middle of the
In the
game.
second one there is. In the second one there is. Because the
What
first one
about,
you the first one you go through the portal, and then the second one you're actually in the open world and you've got to find the black pearl.
Yeah, there's that stuff, but when you dive and then start to go into that tower or whatever, it's not supposed to have other players, right? I haven't come across any other players in the middle of the second mission.
Spoiler alert.
Well, there were. I mean, even the first
Weird.
time I did it, when we finally managed to get it working, there was like 5 or 6 players around. We were trying to work together, so there weren't anybody killing anyone. But this time there was. But I think from what I've heard is it's the other people being in the area that cocks it all up, because you're hitting things, they're hitting things, and you're at different levels, and it just messes stuff up. So it's probably just the computer doesn't quite know what to do, doesn't know where you are with the puzzle. There's one time I spawned in, my brother was swimming above me, and I was still walking on land, because for my screen it hadn't loaded up the water going up, and for him it was, so he could swim about. I had to drop back down and redo the puzzle to make the computer catch up.
Bizarre.
Thankfully, these are just minor things, though, aren't they? That can
they're not.
patched out.
They're
Yeah.
not major.
Keep it minor.
But like, I wonder unless like it's putting you in like an instance it should be putting you in or something. Because I'm sure like the rare interview they said that other players weren't in the actual Tall Tales mission area. Obviously in the traversal they are.
Yeah.
I'm not in the Tall Tale mission stuff, so you can experience like the reveals and stuff yourself without interference. So I wonder whether the server didn't they put a message out yesterday or something saying like bear with us, the servers might
I don't know.
might crumble because so many people were waiting to play it. Like
I'm guessing that they were trying to go for like a division, you know, when you're in the bases and then when you walk out the door you just disappear.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they were going for that, but it's a good game, and I broke my own rule. I bought the
You bought the stuff straight away.
Yeah, I don't tend to like to buy
Cosmetics.
skins.
you went full Jack Sparrow.
Went full Jack Sparrow. I'm expecting to see you dressed up on stream as Jack Sparrow soon.
If I could figure out how to, I would, but I can't.
Steve, don't worry. I bought the statue on the ship, you know, for €8 that's smoking.
What the under the thingy, whatever it's called.
Yeah, on the front of the ship, the statue.
Yeah.
I bought the entire set for €25 and the extra stuff, you know, the smoking statue for €8.
I couldn't warrant that. I looked and thought I'm not paying 20 quid to make my ship look black. The most I did is because I bought 2,500 coins. I bought the sail.
Yeah.
I bought the outfits, and I bought the dog, and I bought the key with the dog with the key in its mouth. And just because I'm an absolute child, I renamed my dog Jar of Dirt so I could be Jack Sparrow running around my ship going, I've got a jar of dirt. I've got a jar of dirt.
Oh man.
That's because I'm a complete child.
I think the purchase which is hard to swallow in that game is like you can pay like £3 or something for like smoke trails.
Yeah,
smoke trails and stuff, which is just mental.
Yeah, but Chris, I need it. I need it.
I need the purchases.
Oh, look, new stuff. Click, buy.
The one thing I did want, though, as well as the skins and stuff, was the black torn sails from the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
So I bought the knocked off version of them. So I've just tried to make my ship all black and then pretend I'm the Black Pearl.
Fair enough. The easy way to do it.
Did you buy the Jack Sparrow outfit or the entire crew set?
Yeah. That's what irritated me. That is, it's clever them doing it, but you can only buy the Jack Sparrow as a set rather than an individual skin.
He's cosplaying as Jack Sparrow in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But
you go throughout the whole thing. You've got all the rewards and stuff, and I was like, "What's the point? I'm Jack Sparrow. I'm never going to change my outfit. So these rewards are completely pointless to me."
Well, you can save up the ancient coins, you know, for the season pass, and then buy a new season pass with it. That's how I do it.
There was one bit I've just seen Mike in the chat, and it reminded me. There is in the first Tall's Tale.
Yep.
There's an amazing Monkey Island reference.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like a dual one because there's the Monkey Island reference that Mike saw, which was the map with the 3 islands.
Yep.
But also when you're in that area, the music sounds like Monkey Island.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's really, really cool. It's a really cool.
There's like a little Goonies Easter egg as well, isn't there? I won't say what it is, but
Is that?
yeah, there's like a little nod to Goonies. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I don't think I've seen that one.
We'll speak privately so we don't spoil.
Yeah,
I was going to say
spoil the magical.
Straight after this, anyway, I'll.
Okay, let me ask you guys something.
Yes.
I haven't played Sea of Thieves since it's launched.
Oh.
I played it in the beginning, like 2-3 hours. Said nope, not for me. Is it worth returning now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was the same because like when you first got it, it was one of 3 missions that you do over and over and over again, and it was boring. Whereas now they've got like they've got the Tall Tales, which are like mini campaign things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot more to do and there's a lot more variety to it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot better with friends, but you can do it on your own as well.
Okay, so I might just re-download it.
Definitely
worthwhile.
If you need
Yeah,
help,
you need to do it.
if you need help, you know where to find me, Art.
In the
Sure.
hot tub. You'll be in the hot tub with this little pirate boat.
Oh, and
now I
have
remember
a lot-
why I don't like the game.
I have a lot of skins.
Straight after this, anyway, I will be jumping on to Sea of Thieves with Xbox Mix, who will be streaming it. So, want to see the new expansion? Then Xbox Mix will be playing it with myself after this podcast. But
nice.
we will get into the meat of the show, and we'll start off with the biggest conference because let's face it, it had the most content and the most to talk about. So we'll be talking about the
Nintendo.
PlayStation.
I was going to say Ubisoft, but
When is Forza Erwin going to PlayStation?
oh my god.
The Xbox Bethesda showcase. So yes, primarily let's discuss that now. So we do have the full show ongoing as we discuss this, but be able to enjoy it as we talk. I want to get your opinions first and foremost. Having had a chance to, should we say, wait and sit on it for a couple of days, what are your overall impressions about the show still? Do you still give it the same high mark, or upon reflection, downgrade a little bit or upgrade it? First of all, I will start with Pat because he wasn't joining us for the live show, unfortunately, due to internet problems.
Yeah.
Pat, what did you initially, after watching it, what did you initially rate the show?
9.5.
0.5. Okay.
Yes, I was the things that they shown. I was overexcited. Seriously, it was so good, and yeah, I cannot wait to play some of the games that are coming out on the Game Pass. So yeah, this showcase, this E3 was for me was much better than the last 2, I guess, or 3 or something. So yeah, 9.5 for sure.
Awesome. And do you stick at that particular rating, or has that went down or up since you last talked about it?
Well, it went up. Like I said, the last 2 E3s were not that excited. Maybe also because we are. I was expecting probably too much, and this time I was like, okay, just let it come. Let's see what they got, and yeah, they surprised me really big. So
Yeah. So you
and
kept like expectations low this year, and you kind of just said,
yes,
I'm not expecting anything. Whatever happens, happens.
yes, exactly, yeah. and that paid off. So yeah, I'm super excited for the games that are.
Was missing for me. That's the only thing.
Oh, that's fair. No, that's very fair. Chris, you joined us live, of course, for the reactions, and we had a awesome time doing it. Laugh. Of course, myself and you, we rated it very highly. I think we give it full marks, 10 out of 10 at the time. Do you stick to that, or upon reflection, have you slightly downgraded it?
No, I think for me, I'd stick to it. I think the fact that we got like the little extra show, a few days later or on Thursday, I think was really good. So they went with the right pacing. I think they had like confidence. I think it was quite clear that kind of Bethesda had a hand in, right, this is how we should present things. And I'm not saying they directed the whole show, but it had that kind of element of Bethesda about it. Like the pacing was good. It was just like bang, 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 and then like these like small little snippets of conversation just for people to catch their breath. I think the games look good. Obviously 27 games going into Game Pass. We had 30 games in total, or might be 31 or something in total. So I just think it was impressive, and I think on reflection, because there was a lot of kind of rumors spinning around and stuff, but I think it made absolute sense that it was going to be like an Xbox and Bethesda event, and it was kind of like Bethesda, our Xbox, and I think we called it at the time that they were going to start with like Starfield, just to get that out and say, look, this is what people have been talking about. It's an Xbox exclusive. You've got to kind of play it in the Xbox ecosystem should you want to. Yeah, I just think they hit it out the park, and I think to follow up with the more kind of in-depth deep dives and stuff, and I kind of wasn't expecting Fable, because I know Fable's some way out at the minute, and obviously we saw a bit of Hellblade 2 in the deep dive, just an update from them, just to say, look, we're working on it. This is what we're doing.
That looked gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah, it looked really impressive, and I think they also kind of set the record straight, really, by saying we're now moving into production and stuff. So I think that will have been heavily influenced by COVID, because there's a lot of like mocap. Obviously the main the main actor, she's been combat training and stuff like that. So I think there's a big build up into getting that right. But no, I just think that the take from it was how confident Xbox came across. They kind of knew exactly what they were showing. They were kind of reaffirming how good Game Pass is going to be. And anyone who's not cutting their nose off to spite the face and has subscribed to Game Pass and stuff because they want to try new things and play games and don't care, what hardware it's on, in for a treat this year, that's for sure, and beyond.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. It's a case of cutting noses off to spite faces and things like that if they're not too just sick of it. Which I completely agree. The one thing I probably would say as well, in my opinion, I would slightly, before I get on to kind of Archie and one thing I'd mark it down, and the only reason I'm marking it down from a full 10 out of 10 to 9.5 is I think if we had have known, especially kind of before the conference, we had no idea they had an extended showcase planned. We had no idea there was all this other stuff that they kind of had planned. And I understand for the Sea of Thieves because they hadn't announced it yet. So announcing a showcase for something they hadn't announced before the show, well, I can excuse them for that. But the extended showcase provided a lot more information and an additional game that we hadn't seen in the main showcase there as well. I think the only thing that took it down is the fact that at the end of that showcase, they could have mentioned we have an extended showcase that follows on Thursday with more information about some of our
They could have
titles
mentioned
that
that
further out.
with a couple of things, to be
Yes.
honest. That's my issue, for instance, with Halo Infinite. I was on Boom's reaction show right after that, and I said in that reaction show, I'm not happy with how they showed Halo, because the Halo presentation during the show was not good. It looked good, the graphics looked good, but it wasn't presented well. We didn't see gameplay from the campaign. We didn't see gameplay from the multiplayer. We saw an edited trailer for their biggest game, and that's it. And they could have said during the show, tomorrow we have a deep dive into the multiplayer with more gameplay, and everything would have been solved. But they didn't do that, and they didn't do that with all the extra stuff they had after the show. So I'm totally with you there.
Yeah. And so, what do you then? I mean,
But did you think the Halo show was bad then at E3?
No, I thought during the actual press conference, Halo didn't get a proper showing. They shown an in-cutscene trailer for the campaign, and then they didn't really show gameplay for the multiplayer. They just have shown these 2-second snippets that were edited in between other cutscenes and kill cam shots and stuff like that. And that I was a little bit disappointed. It's not how you show off your biggest game of the year. The 12-minute presentation the next day was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic. They should have either they should have had that in the big show, or at least said during the big show, there's more news coming tomorrow. That's just my take. It looked good, no doubt. Graphics were fine, and not just fine, they were stunning. But the way how they presented the game during the show was a little bit disappointing for me. I was expecting more, either gameplay from the campaign or the multiplayer, and we didn't see either of that during the actual press conference.
No, but the problem is, right, that people were so much complaining on Twitter and all the other platforms about the graphics. Last year when they showed it with the gameplay, I think they just went full graphic wise, and then this is Halo now. This is the new graphics, and then take the finger to everybody who was complaining.
and that was good. The graphics looked awesome.
I agree with you, man. They should have put, like you mentioned, that with the show from Paris.
Yeah.
That there was actual gameplay, but at E3 they took perfectly revenge on all those people complaining about the graphics.
I think
It was a graphical powerhouse.
But I think, to be fair, you've got to think about like the pacing and stuff, and they'd made a decision to go kind of like keep the pacing fast, and I think it would have absolutely killed the show to stick a 5, 10, 15 minute kind of deep dive into anything in that show. Would have just taken
we had an 8-minute Stalker deep dive. We had an 11-minute Forza Horizon 5 deep dive.
Yeah.
So
what do you want to do? Add another 15-minute deep dive or whatever into it?
I'm fine that they did it like that. That's not. But I didn't know that there was coming more. I thought that's it.
Yeah.
But that's during the show and after the show. Yeah. And that's what I'm complaining about. That
that's not necessarily on Xbox, is it? Because if it was like a week of games with Xbox, then you can imagine them talking about what's coming up. But this is an E3 showcase, so we've got no idea whether they sat down with the people who put E3 on and said, we want to make sure that people are excited for Nintendo and other shows and stuff. So we don't want you to turn around and say, we've got this tomorrow, we've got this on Thursday, we've got on. And also, as a company, you've got to kind of, you've just shown 90 minutes of like awesomeness. You've gone with Bethesda, with Starfield, with this is Game Pass, and you name it. So you want to give people 24 hours, 48 hours, days to discuss and digest all of that stuff, and you want to let the media pick all that up, and you want to get your bang for your buck in PR terms, don't you? So then you let that die down a bit and go, oh, by the way, Joe, we've got this with Paris, and we've got this extra element and stuff like that. I just think it's easy to just go, let's show everything. And the reason why it's a 10 for me is they haven't even shown all of the cards in the hand, in the deck. Yeah. We've literally got other developers, we've got other games that we know are coming, which haven't been spoken about. We've got, the Games Awards later on in the year, which there's rumors to be stuff. There was talk that kind of Obsidian had Avowed to show, and Microsoft decided not to show Avowed in E3. So there's lots of stuff that they decided not to show just to make sure the pacing was right and to make sure they didn't kind of overload people. I just think sometimes like a lot of people want everything all at once, and it's kind of it's good to drip feed this stuff sometimes, or allow you to kind of digest and then follow up with something. But there's nothing to say. I think Major Nelson and Jeff Rubenstein said on XNC Cult Show, they were saying they made a decision for the pace. They made a decision, on what to show. They had more stuff to show. They had stuff that they pulled and so on and so forth. And I think the thing that we don't know is, as I say, what are those discussions that go on with, the organisers of E3 to say, look, don't take the limelight away from these other, publishers or developers or whatever that have got a show on, because we don't want, everyone to kind of be going, right, we'll just look forward to Microsoft tomorrow again, and then Microsoft on Thursday and stuff. So I haven't got a massive problem with a kind of, a couple of stealth drops, because it gets everyone talking again, really.
Yeah, like I say,
Yeah.
the only thing that's slightly
I get
marked
that.
down, and I think this is why what Boxenberger is saying is that he would have been far more appreciative of that particular section of Halo on the main showcase.
Yeah.
If at the end he knew there were, for instance, they said you want to see more of some of the games shown in the showcase, we're going to have an extended discussion with Paris on Thursday, and then just left it at that, then they're like, Archie wouldn't have been as as critical of that particular thing, because he would have been like, right, okay, there's going to be more shown kind of in a couple of days' time, so we'll see more about it. I think that is literally the only thing I would have changed about that, is just them saying that, because in retrospect as well, if you had a look at some of the things that a lot of the podcasts jumped on straight away after the show, was no one knew about these extended shows even straight after the show. So their opinions were based on stuff that they hadn't. We didn't say enough of this, or we didn't this, or did. But in retrospect, they already had stuff lined up to show that stuff off that they wanted to see. They just weren't aware of it. Just more of an awareness thing, I think. But the show, its pace, the games that they showed, that as a whole, 10 out of 10. But in retrospect, slight markdown, because I think they could have announced, okay, listen, we do have an extended thing where Paris is going to be with some of the developers, some games show on this show.
Is that not just like a surprise, though? Is that almost like going, here are kids, here's your presents for Christmas?
It kind of
And
is,
you've
but
got you've got a surprise mountain bike for them, but you go and have the surprise mountain bike as well, and you haven't got a surprise tomorrow. I just think
it kind of is, but they did. If you think about it, they advertised the showcase itself like all over walls in London, all over kind of social media, all over different pages, TV spots, and things like that. But they didn't do any advertising for these extended shows. For anybody who wasn't aware of
it's a bonus, isn't it? They advertised the show that they did, and the 90 minutes is the show that they did.
Yeah.
And the other stuff was like a bonus, wasn't it? So you don't advertise a bonus, do you? That's I just think to mark down a show, which they delivered on a show, because we then got spoiled with an extra thing, but we went, oh, you didn't tell us about that surprise extra thing, which we all enjoyed. But your first show could get marked down. I just think it's just quite a bizarre take, really. But
so it's for me, it's just more of a transparency thing. I think it's just a quick nod at the end. It's not so much giving it loads of airtime. I just think that information would have been useful for a lot of people who wanted to see more about the games. That, again, because that wasn't pushed like the rest of it was, like you say, it was just a nice bonus to have it afterwards. A lot of people that tuned in for that main showcase wouldn't have seen that, because they're not on Twitter or anything like that, and that really wasn't pushed or advertised anywhere outside of kind of the basic social media platforms.
They could have at least said that the deep dives for Sea of Thieves and Halo and stuff like that is coming. That is something they could have done during the show. I get why they kind of stealth dropped the Paris thing. Like Chris said, it pulls away from that narrative that people are hoping for more to come. After that show, everyone should, at least the initial reaction should be, and that's the announcements. Let's talk about them. But if you say right away, okay, in 3 days or 4 days, we have another show, everyone is thinking, okay, will we see Hellblade then? And will we see Fable then? And people will start this kind of discussion. So that's what I get. What I didn't get is really that they left me with that feeling, okay, that was the Halo show, that the Master Chief, who was on the cover of the entire showcase, and he got like 3 minutes, and that's it, and not a second of gameplay. That's not. It's just was not my expectation towards the game's presentation during the show. Yeah.
Eve, what are your impressions on the show? Then, obviously, during the show, again, you give it, I think, 11 out of 10.
I don't want to. I want to. I want to let Steve talk, but I'd like to give the rest of my thoughts towards the show as well.
Sorry, brother. Oh.
Before the big game starts, because the kickoff has already started, so I think I'm gonna be distracted now from now on. What I found very interesting is over the 2 or 3 weeks before the showcase, every podcast you had a listen was doing predictions and expectations and stuff like that. It was kind of interesting to see how much of these expectations were suddenly forgotten from people. It was really interesting to me, because my initial reaction was it was a fantastic show, perfect pacing, game after game after game. The key message was awesome. Lots of games coming to Game Pass. There's never going to be a month in this year where we don't have a major game release now from now on. Starting in July. A lot of very good messages. We have seen gameplay. It was a big complaint. We have seen gameplay for almost all the games they have shown. And now comes my but.
Yes.
But not from the Xbox first-party studios. That's I've said it on this show. I've said it on every other podcast. My expectation was that we see outside of Halo 2 or 3 of those major AAA games that they have announced with gameplay, and they didn't show that. We've seen Forza Horizon 5 with gameplay from the first-party studios, and that's it. The rest was CGI trailers or in-engine trailers. Yeah, Halo in-engine trailers, Starfield in-engine trailer, Redfall, CGI, Outer Worlds 2, CGI. The first-party studios have not shown gameplay.
I think I was going to say in terms of
Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, I was going to say in terms of Starfield.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Psychonauts 2. I forgot about that.
I was going to say in terms of Starfield, they made a concerted effort afterwards to kind of correct that. That was kind of alpha in-game.
In-engine, yeah, without any cinematic, but it wasn't gameplay. We agree on that. And I think as much as I really liked the show and I liked what they have shown, it would be I would feel like a little what's the English word, hypocrite, if I would say, okay, that's a 10 out of 10, because my expectation was, and I was very clear about that, I want to see like 2 or 3 major games with gameplay.
Yeah.
And I didn't see them. So as much as I liked the show, that's why I graded it at 8.5. I have to say, after the E3 week, I would upgrade that to a 9.0 or maybe even a 9.5, because that Paris Lily event was absolutely awesome. And these in-depth deep dives for Halo or Sea of Thieves and a couple of other games, Psychonauts 2 also had a fantastic deep dive afterwards, after the showcase. Those were the kind of things I wanted to see. Yeah. And yeah, with that, the whole entire E3 package, the entire week, was a 9.0 to 9.5 for me. I have to be honest with the show. Fantastic, a lot of awesome games. Stalker 2 blew me away, probably the highlight of the show for me. I was so surprised by A Plague Tales 2 that they announced that. I loved the first game. Those were really highlights for me. I was so surprised to see Outer Worlds 2 announced.
That was a great trailer.
Funniest trailers I have ever seen. And I love the game. So I can't complain about what they have announced. But yeah, we still have not really seen gameplay from the first-party studios outside now of the Forza and Halo. Yeah. And of course, I mean, you're right, Psychonauts 2, but you know what I mean? That's not kind of packing the same punch as a Avowed, Fable, Hellblade, something like that.
Why
in
would
Yeah,
you
that
that's
show?
department.
Why would you show gameplay though of a game which is a year, 2 years out?
I would show it because it sets expectations right, and it gives the customer an outlook what to expect from that first party studios. Xbox still has a lot more to prove in that regard than than Sony has to. Sony has
And
better-
surely they'll prove it when it's time to show, isn't it? It's like, you know, it might be a case that they're not wasting time doing vertical slices because the stuff's 2 years off. I mean, Fable will not come out until 23, 24, I don't think.
Yeah.
So why the hell would you show it now? It's just, I think
But
this thing of like seeing
Yeah,
gameplay.
I'm just saying. I think we know about plus minus 35 games that they have in the making. And if it's not Fable that you can show, is there really nothing you can show with gameplay from
No,
35
I
games in the
don't think
making?
there's any point in showing something which is 2 years out or something.
Yeah.
Sony will not show you something 2 years out. They'll show God of War, a vertical slice when it's close. They'll show Horizon when it's close. It's so we didn't see Forbidden West 2 years ago, or I think this like
We've seen
notion
Gran
of like
Turismo last year, and so that's almost 2 years before it comes out.
but,
So
but that was kind of like you know, that could have been you know, an in-engine shot because yeah, it looked like gameplay and stuff like that, but then it's disappeared. We haven't seen anything of it. So I think given the pandemic and stuff like that, I think given how far stuff's out, you've got to allow the games that we're going to play in the next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, you know, you've got to allow them to shine, let people see that. I know what you're trying to say about they've got stuff to prove, but they've just shown Forza Horizon 5 is like one of the best racing games I've ever seen.
absolutely.
And it's like, and so Playgrounds have got nothing to prove. So Playground don't need to show Fable for me. Because I know that Fable is going to be awesome. The engine's great, the team is great. It's one of the most talented studios. It's a tricky, you know, thing to get into. Saying we should be seeing gameplay like 2 or 3 years in advance when they may be thinking, is it going to change? They're working on mechanics. They're trying new things out and stuff. And then I'd sooner the development team concentrate on moving it towards release date than spending 6 months to do a vertical slice, which then when the game comes out, it's arguably nothing like it, or it's changed or what. So I think it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't with some some opinions, and I think showing gameplay 2 or 3 years in advance is like a really kind of dangerous thing to do, I think. And that's that's from someone who's been there and been forced to make vertical slices and stuff in the middle of like development.
I get what you're saying. It doesn't have to be 2 years. We don't need to see the games from 2023.
Yeah,
but
for the games from next
2022
year, you mean?
Yeah,
Games
2022 is closer. And
Redfall,
there's a
for
lot
instance,
coming,
which
and
they announced was summer next year.
yeah, exactly. Redfall is a perfect example. The game is 1 year out. Give us an idea what it is.
Well, they gave us an idea by showing us a CG trailer. It's sometimes difficult to explain in 2 minutes of gameplay than it is, a CG trailer. And Miles spoke about this, which made sense. It's like it is sometimes you've just got to show a bit of a CG trailer to get across, what you kind of capture or set the tone of the game, and then at a later point you start to show gameplay.
Yeah.
You can't introduce a game straight away with gameplay. It's just like really bizarre, and then you're kind of like, "What the hell's this?" And it looks like this and stuff. So you kind of you set the tone a bit with a story. It's like it's like a movie trailer. Set the tone a bit, and then start to like introduce gameplay as we get closer, or this, that, the other. You have with game PR, you've got a massive long burn before you release, and you've got to be kind of really particular about kind of let's set the tone, which is normally a CG trailer or something. Then we start to kind of move into characters or story arc, then gameplay and stuff like that. So you just prepare people on the journey. I think I wouldn't have expected just to suddenly see Redfall and go, loads of people playing it and kind of going, what the hell is this or whatever. I think you've got to kind of be careful and I think CG trailers like tell the story better than just running into like a bit of gameplay when it's a game that we've not seen or heard of. I think.
But before we continue with it, I wanted to bring up a little comment that will probably get some discussion. Rick in the chat mentioned before. What do we all make of the fact that Halo still have still date 21? I think we'll start with Chris because I think I don't think you've got many concerns over that. Erwin did either when he was on. Said, okay, if you need a bit more time to polish before you give us that affinity. Chris, what do you make of that?
I think it's purely because of COD. I think that's the only reason they haven't given a date. I think they're waiting to see where COD lands and then they'll position it where they need to position it. But I think it'll absolutely be out this year. I think, I think they don't want to kind of give the opposition a date and they don't want to kind of release it smack bang in the middle of COD. I mean, we've seen something like that before, haven't we? Not necessarily from Xbox, but I can't remember who it was, but they released like 2 games and like killed the other game off or whatever. I can't remember whether it was like an EA title or it could have been COD and something else. I can't remember. So I think it's purely because of that. I don't think it's like in trouble or delayed or anything. I think they're literally just waiting to see what happens with Call of Duty. Yeah.
I also think it's to do with the flighting as well. That if they need a little bit more time from the feedback from the flighting for the multiplayer.
Yes.
It could just be they're just giving themselves a bit of wiggle room should they need it.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
It's fair. It's fair enough, right? It's the biggest title, so
yeah.
And
they've got
no
mess
more
up this
lives left
Halo
on it.
after
They can't
Halo
mess it
5. You know, all the complaints. You know, which
You know
I
what?
don't agree with, to be honest.
Halo
But
5 is a good game.
yeah,
The
exactly.
story is a little bit weak, and I didn't like playing as Locke.
It's mediocre, right? It's not as good as 3 or 4, but it's not bad.
I think an 8's a solid score for it. I think it's a fair score.
Yeah.
For it. If they were doing how they did it, I'd prefer to have the ratio for Master Chief that they did for Locke than the other way around. But again, that wouldn't work with the story they were trying to tell. But it's a decent game. I've recently went through it again, and it's a solid shooter in terms of gameplay mechanics. The story is fine. The story I actually quite liked where they were going with Cortana. And it's really set it up. I'm really interested to see where they take that. It's one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to. I'm not massive into the multiplayer for Halo, so I'm really interested to see where the actual story goes. But yeah, I just think they're trying to give themselves a little room. I think Call of Duty plays a big part in that. We know when Battlefield's out, so they can avoid that. And I think they need to try and figure out where COD's going to fall in comparison to Battlefield and even Forza. I'm not sure. I've heard some people argue that it won't really matter if it's because the anniversary is a week before or after Forza. I think it's after Forza. A week after Forza is the anniversary, so that would be a good time to launch it. But I kind of wonder is oh dear, Box.
Yeah.
Don't look at the screen. Don't look at the screen.
I'm looking at the screen all the time. That's why I only listen with one ear here.
But yeah, I mean, are people really that sentimental that it has to release on the
anniversary?
Do people really care that much? I don't.
No, I think it'd be a nice touch, but it's not essential.
If anything, I'd quite like, and if they were to launch before the anniversary, then maybe on the anniversary do something like an event or
some in-game event special.
Give away a free skin for the multiplayer that was the OG Master Chief.
The Craig skin.
Yeah, just something. Yeah, Craig skin. That'd be quite funny. I would have loved them in the little gameplay and the little cutscene thing. He's just going through space just to move Craig out the way and just kind of carry on moving.
I still think Craig will be a playable character at some point.
Yes,
I hope so. I really hope so.
I mean, they can also do an in-game event or something for the anniversary. That's totally fine. I think it's not just Call of Duty. It's also probably they are waiting for Sony and their plans for Forbidden West, and then of course there are a couple of other games that have not a release date for this fall yet. And I think they also have to be careful with their partners, especially those games that might come into Game Pass or not. Where do you position your big game? And they probably have a little headroom to move it plus minus 1 month around, and so they just wait till everybody has fixed their dates, and then be respectful with their own partners and the games that come into Game Pass, and to see where is that gap where Halo fits in.
Yeah.
So.
With the whole Call of Duty thing, I was just thinking about that then as you're talking. Do you think Activision and Call of Duty may be a little bit put out that Sony no longer at E3, the biggest gaming event in the world? It's, for E3 is when you get normal media start paying attention to gaming, and all of a sudden, because they partnered with PlayStation, and PlayStation like, no, I don't want to be here anymore because I don't think it's fair. We're market leaders and we don't get what we want.
But Steve, don't you think they will be joining next year after what Xbox did this year? I think they're coming back.
No, Sony's not coming back.
Oh,
I
Sony
don't
won't
think
come
so either.
They
left E3 before the whole pandemic, so
yeah,
it's not.
From what I remember, Tim Dog saying, it was to do with they felt that Xbox was getting advantages that Sony weren't.
Really?
I can't remember what it was about.
No, it is that they feel that they're at a disadvantage. I think Sony are also. I know there was a rumor, but Sony are definitely. I've heard a bit more about it, but they're definitely looking at bringing back PlayStation Experience. So they're going to just try and do something themselves. They'll probably do something July-ish. Anyway, I'm not necessarily saying that'll be a PlayStation Experience, but yeah, they just feel that the Xbox have the upper hand at E3. So no way that they're ever going to come back.
What's the upper hand that they think?
I don't know. I think Tim Dog was saying that the E3 has always been quite a successful show for Xbox. I know, obviously, we've said that they've had a couple of poor showings and stuff, but I think it's just they feel it's like it's in their neck of the woods. They've got they've got like strong PR presence there. They could do lots of different things in the US and stuff. So it's all around that type of thing. Whether that's them being paranoid or what, but I think
it's poor.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element, isn't there, that they, Sony and and PlayStation, rightfully so to a degree. Where kind of the video games market, when they launched the PlayStation, they kind of like launched 3D gaming, and they were kind of a brand that it didn't have any competition, and everyone had a PlayStation in the house and stuff like that. And then obviously the OG Xbox came out, and then we all know what happened with like the 360 PS3 era and this, that, the other. And Sony are quite arrogant. I mean, and rightfully so to a degree. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with a business having an element of like arrogance. Sports stars have an element of arrogance, football teams do, and so on and so forth. But I think it's the humbling side that's kind of missing. And I think it was Major Nelson and Jeff were saying it again the other day. Rubenstein was saying, they've made themselves like really approachable. So like there's no other organization in the world where you can speak to so many kind of executives and people involved on Twitter, and just have conversations with them, and even kind of have DMs with them and stuff like that. It's solely the polar opposite, because they're very, when I was there, it's kind of like a corporation. It's a Japanese corporation as well, so there's different ways of doing business and so on and so forth. And there is an arrogance about it. I think all the way down to kind of like staff and that, staff not getting paid the same, staff not getting paid the same salaries or market rate salaries that other staff are getting, a kind of EA and stuff like that. And it was always met with well, you're working for Sony, so that's kind of good enough for you.
Yeah,
it's
the prestige. You're being paid in prestige.
Yeah, it's a very odd thing, and to a degree, yeah, you feel proud of being part of that. But then when a studio gets closed down and everyone gets laid off, annually, as what happens in the video game market, anyway.
But you
then
can
all
put,
that kind of
Sony on your
prestige,
CV. That's fine. You can put
yeah,
Sony on your
goes
CV.
out the window a bit. The prestige and stuff like that. So I think it's just that. I think they've just, I think they've genuinely kind of seen their arse a bit. Don't see that they've got the full attention at an E3, and they just want to do something themselves. Yeah, there's no way they'll come back unless something mad happens, like Jim goes and someone comes in who's really kind of open and goes, I want to kind of I want to make this a bit more like customer oriented. Let's be transparent. Let's do this. Let's do that. But it's
the old guy from Nintendo, the Reggie guy.
Reginald.
Reggie was cool. Reggie was cool. Now they've got Doug Bowser.
Yeah.
Well, you've only got to look at like the way people talk about PlayStation. You've only got to look at like the media and stuff like that. It's I don't know if it's going to be I don't even know if it's going to be a topic or anything, but all this nonsense in the media now, where like every other article's like, is Forza 5 coming to the PlayStation? It's like, well, no, it's not. These weird like clickbait articles now, but that's what like the media are doing. So Sony could put an event on in like 3 weeks' time, say, and everyone will watch it, and
I hope they do because to Archie's point on Xbox, we know of all the titles that they have. We just want to see kind of more of them. However, on Sony's side, outside of Horizon and God of War, what there isn't anything.
Gran Turismo, that's the 3 I can think of.
Gran Turismo,
announced.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we've got. So we need to see their roadmap.
And there will be other things.
You can't be arrogant enough to think, especially as a PlayStation fan, you can't just sit back and be arrogant and say, well, listen, we've got these 3 major hits. Oh, right, okay, but what after that? Oh, well, it's Sony, so we'll get the game. Yeah, but you still need to see them. I mean, it still need a reason to own that console.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And the best argument, I mean, they've got that cool, I can't remember what it's called, but they've got that cool like Kung Fu game coming out, haven't they, where it's like a 3D Streets of Rage type cool thing or whatever.
Sifu.
Yeah, Sifu, that's it. I mean, that looks cool. But I think the best counter argument I've seen on social media recently is obviously there's like petitions about like bring Bethesda to PlayStation and all this nonsense, which just makes me laugh. But the best counter argument is like someone was saying like Xbox have taken my Bethesda games away, and then there was a counter argument. I can't remember who it was, but came back and said, "But I wanted to play Deathloop on my Xbox on day one, and I can't because before Bethesda was acquired, Sony paid for that game to go to PlayStation only."
Yep, and Tokyo and Ghostwire Tokyo with them.
Yeah, so I think as soon as kind of people. As soon as certain people grow up a bit and think, do you know what, this is just business. That's all it is. It's business in the same way that we've bought. You buy a pair of headphones. You might buy like Bose headphones.
Yeah.
And Sony are trying to compete, or this other company are trying to compete, and it's just business at the end of the day. It's like really weird how people get.
Chris, this are 30 and 40-year-olds.
No, yeah, exactly.
They're not grown up, mate. It's nonsense. I see the post you mentioned, right? There's even a petition to sign off Jim Ryan. I mean,
yeah.
What do people think if they sign a petition that Sony does that? Come on,
two petitions. Yeah, 2 petitions. Jim Ryan to be sacked and Bethesda to go to PlayStation, as if like a petition makes that happen. Or it's just.
They did it before with Sea of Thieves, right? It's signed like.
Yeah.
I think it was 30,000 times. Do you really believe that Microsoft will put Sea of Thieves on PlayStation because you signed a petition?
Yeah.
Of course not.
I think the problem is though is like these these kind of media websites and stuff just like fuel this stuff. The people who are putting Starfield, like Metro Starfield may come to PlayStation, and it is Forza coming to PlayStation. You don't see like is God of War coming to Xbox article and stuff, and I think these media outlets know exactly what that scene is, how many clicks they're going to get, how much advertising revenue, and and they fuel all this stuff. And then you've got like fanatics. I'm sure there's a couple of like, I'm sure there's people in there who are like early teens. They're not paying for the console. The parents are paying for it, and they may only be getting one console and stuff like that. Who genuinely would like to play some Xbox games or this, that, the other. They've only got that one option. But if you've got a job and you can pay a mortgage and you're going out buying beers or whatever you want, if you want to play on a different platform, you can go and buy another place. You can go and buy like a PlayStation.
Especially with Xbox,
PlayStations.
you don't have to buy hardware. Everyone has an Xbox basically at home.
Yep.
Every browser is now an Xbox,
Yep.
so to speak. It's for $15 you can play Starfield, and you don't have to buy a console or a controller or anything. You have everything at home to play it for $15 if you sub to Game Pass. Yeah.
And if you're a PlayStation fan,
spot
you can
on.
use your PlayStation.
Yeah.
They don't just you can use that. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're paying for their
Yeah.
server. Use what you want. That's why they have touchscreen
Exactly.
controls as well. They have touchscreen controls specifically for a large majority of the titles as well, and growing, to make sure everybody can play, no matter what you're using.
Absolutely.
But you're right, Archie. And it's like Xbox, Microsoft and Xbox are even investing, putting like Series X server blades in and stuff, so that the cloud streaming, presentation is much, much better. It's no longer like 1S's, the 1S version and stuff like that. So they're putting the hardware in so people get, the best, experience possible and stuff. But it's just madness. I mean,
Some server blades are, or some data
Yes.
centers are actually already finished
Yes,
upgrading to the Series X. Depending on your region, you can already play the Series X version via xCloud.
Yeah, Clobreel posted
Yeah.
that, didn't he?
Yeah.
That he was playing Rainbow Six on the newer version, and it was 100 had the option to go 120 frames on his phone.
And you can
That's
all over
that's
YouTube. You
insane.
see that there are
Crazy.
videos, people recording it. They play the Series X version of the game via xCloud, depending on region.
Yeah, so it's not even like that argument can be utilized if someone wants to go, oh, but the xCloud version is going to be like a poor version or a last gen version or something. So what they're investing in. So, but you're right. It's sign up for Game Pass and play some games or whatever, because a lot of people who are not kind of wed to a piece of plastic. Yeah, we have kind of preferred ecosystems because our friends are there or family or this, that, the other. But everyone here has gone out or will go out and have bought a PlayStation, to play PlayStation exclusives, because those kind of story-driven experiences are awesome. But it's just madness. These people who are like, I can no longer play a Bethesda game now because it's on Xbox. It's like, why can't you? Jim's not going to come out and knock on your door and go, I'm going to ban you from PSN now.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's just
PlayStation fans have been banned for less.
Yes, they have.
True,
But to bring it back to your point, Dutch, about the PlayStation roadmap, definitely. The thing is really right now, the availability of the consoles is so limited that I do have the feeling that they think they don't have to show their roadmap properly right now. It just feels like they are holding back, and I don't like it.
They've made some
because I
strange
think-
decisions recently, though. I mean, you will have seen quite a few things on Twitter specifically recently where current PlayStation 5 owners being offered the opportunity for one by PlayStation.
Yeah.
What?
And it's quite a few of them as well.
Yeah, that's what is their attempt to go against scalpers. So you have to hand in somehow your PlayStation account, and then they check, do you actually play games on there, and then you are allowed to buy it. It's kind of weird to me, because on the other hand, they are bragging all over the place that they sold more PS5 than they did in the same time for PlayStation 4s. But they are not giving the customer the roadmap. And I think especially in the beginning of a generation, it's more than fair for these early adopters that pay the full price for the console to give them something to look out for. Xbox has done that beautifully now. I made a video earlier this week. It's 22 games that they have already announced that are coming. 22 first-party titles. Yeah. Of course, if you count the second and third-party deals, is a lot more coming. But it's 22 first-party titles that have already been announced, coming over the course, of course, of the next 2 or 3 years. But that's kind of a roadmap. I know what I'm investing in.
Yeah.
I really don't know that right now. And Chris said it beautifully. It feels like a little arrogance to only rely on that good track record. I think we all agree we are not concerned that Sony will stop delivering great experiences, but it's still these early adopters are your best fans. They are the ones that are promoting the platform, so give them something to be excited about. Yeah.
Well, is it who's the PlayStation guy? Like, is it like MBG or MBX or so?
MBG is a PlayStation dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've got him blocked maybe or something, but I'm probably one of the many blocked people. But he put a tweet out today, or I think it was late last night, like pleading with Sony to give them news, and it's like, so I think Archie makes like a perfect point of like, these are your kind of champions who are going to kind of shout about stuff, and whether it is that there's low hardware, or they're not completely confident with certain aspects of the hardware because obviously they've not got like the SSD expandable storage working yet, or this, that, the other, so they're being a bit kind of quiet about stuff. But they're your champions, so you've got to at least give them something to be happy, or because what will happen is if it stays quiet for too long and Xbox continue to kind of deliver, I'm not saying someone like him will, but you will get people that will switch over, and we've seen people go out after the E3 showcase, or some of the Game Pass announcements and stuff. And my Twitter's been full of like people who've gone out and like bought Series X's and stuff off the back of that. It's full of the Japanese market and lots of Japanese players. So I think I think that's what'll happen, won't it? People will just switch.
I do find the irony in the argument that Sony not being at E3. The hardcore fans are like, yeah, well, so we don't need E3. Sony don't need E3, and then you get people kind of going, please give us some morsel of information a week after E3. It's just kind of, well, you obviously do.
Yeah, but they're like politicians, Steve.
Well, they're worse sometimes. No, nobody's worse than
I think the scary. Oh. Sorry, I was going to say the scary thing is, and I think Archie's referenced this in the past, is that if it wasn't for Insomniac, it's they're the dev team that's like hit it out the park for Sony and PlayStation.
And not the dog, right?
It's just mad. If it wasn't for them, then what? How much first party content is going to be out there?
And they've tapped them out now. I can't see what Insomniac are going to bring out now. There has to be times in which.
Yeah. I think Insomniac is done now for the next 2 years or so before we see the next full proper Spider-Man release.
And you know what? And you know what? Good. Cause honestly, that team has been absolutely phenomenal. They've literally put Sony in the position they are by themselves. Like, that team deserves all the credit.
Yeah, all that expectation, and they've held it up.
They've literally held Sony up in the launch. I mean, I think it's three major titles.
Already teased.
Yeah.
They already teased, right? They're working on Sunset Overdrive 2. They activated the account again.
I love Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, obviously they were showing like the energy drink and stuff, but I agree with Archie and Dutch. There's no way that's gonna appear in the next year or so. They're gonna need a couple of years.
No, but it's what they're working on, right?
Oh,
I mean, come on.
Oh, no doubt.
The account's been activated again. Yeah.
And good. That game deserves a sequel. It's such an underrated game. I mean, Deal of the Century by Sony to get them for, what was it, $250 million or something?
Yeah, we pay safe. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
but on the
made a
flip,
joke on Twitter the other day or 2 days ago that I had to mute the conversation, to be honest, because people were really coming at me.
You don't make
But
jokes on Twitter. You don't make jokes on Twitter.
the thing really is, we are living in funny times because right now it kind of looks or could be that Forbidden West will be shifted towards the next year. We don't know. Could be, couldn't. If that
I think
happens,
it will.
yeah, me too. I also think it will be spring next year then. But the thing is, if that happens, Microsoft will publish more games on the PlayStation 5 this year than Sony.
Yeah.
You could make that's really with Deathloop and Ghostwire. And then you could also make the other counterpoint, of course. Sony has published more games on Xbox this year than Microsoft has.
Have you so
With
far?
MLB The Show. Yeah,
Yeah, so far.
that's
The weird
really
world we live in.
a weird world, yeah. But it shows you how light the roadmap, the first party roadmap for Sony is. We know that they are locking down a lot of second party and third party deals, timed exclusive deals, or fully exclusive. Sometimes we don't know, but they are not doing that because they have much content coming in the next year or two, and they were also hit with the pandemic. A lot of things have shifted around, and I think the first 2 years of the and yeah, I think Uncharted 4 was the first game, first party game that kicked really that stream off. Of course, Killzone at launch, but other than that, I might
Don't they
miss.
have less studios?
I
at
know,
the
Chris.
moment?
I had to mention it. It's normal, and it's not really coming as a surprise. If you look at the first party studios that they have like 15 studios. I think it's 15 first party studios, but some of them are support studios. So it doesn't come as a surprise that they have something like maybe 2-3 games in the pipeline for the next 2 years, because the other teams are just they need more time.
I think you're right about like the pandemic as well. It's like I honestly believe Halo Infinite is a perfect example of how a game is affected by the pandemic, because I think I don't think they've suddenly just kind of like fixed that, but I think as the pandemic has kind of like improved and people have been like vaccinated, and then more and more things have been put in place and stuff, I think you've seen the layer of like polish and additional work and so on and so forth that's been so difficult through the pandemic come to fruition when obviously when we saw the latest version of like Halo and stuff. And I think Larry and Jeff again were saying that they absolutely had like no worries whatsoever about like 343 delivering. But the pandemic has obviously caused quite a lot of kind of logistical issues and so on and so forth. And I think everyone turned around and said we all loved the look of the gameplay, in the Craig reveal clip or whatever. The gameplay looked tight and it looked nice, and obviously that's what you want from a game. But it seems that the layer of polish and all of the additional elements, and obviously that we saw in kind of the latest deep dives and stuff, it seems like that was all the stuff that was kind of missing. But like it's huge how much that kind of influences. And obviously if you've got like UK based studios and stuff, I'm aware of like some that companies utilize like furlough schemes and stuff, like normal businesses, because they couldn't get like equipment home and stuff like that. I know people who like started to work for developers and didn't have like a PC for like a month because they couldn't get it built because there was no one to like build them and so on and so forth. So there's like a lot of things. I think if you think kind of like a business which is close to you or your family or friends or whatever that's been affected, then that exact same thing will happen to a game dev studio. It's not just the fact that it's a game dev studio, it's immune to it. So I think your point's perfect, Archie. I think the pandemic and everything combined has probably had far more of an effect than a lot of people like want to, think about and stuff. And a lot of people are just like, where's my games and where's this and stuff. And we're still trying to navigate around all this, really.
Yeah, indeed.
Before we actually on, Steve, what you mentioned. you give
Right, we're still on that topic.
yeah you you give the show 11 out of 10 originally. Of course, I know that was in jest, but you did give it full marks. What are your actual thoughts now, having digested kind of not only the show but kind of E3? What are your thoughts? Still stick with that full house, or have you changed?
It was so long ago, I can't remember.
He's just become a floating head in the meantime.
All that lives with him is there's no Sam Fisher. That's all he
Yeah,
can
yeah.
remember from E3.
The Ubisoft show.
like-
You remember this?
It's
Still
all happened
bothering
3 million years ago. All this happened, so am I supposed to remember? No,
That's why you're a floating head. You're from the future.
No, hey, you need to watch Red Dwarf, man. You need to watch Red Dwarf.
Yeah, what was your thoughts then of All Odyssey? Do you still stick with that full house, or
I do.
reflection?
I still stick with it. Not because I think it was a perfect event, because I don't think, even when you look at gaming, 10 out of 10 doesn't mean a perfect game. It means outstanding. It means better than ever. It means it's just for me, it was outstanding. Yes, I see the criticisms of Boxenberger, and they're completely legitimate. But for me, I wasn't expecting them anyway, just because with COVID, I wasn't expecting much in the terms of gameplay. I was waiting for Boxenberger to jump in then.
No, I let you finish your point.
Like, pause for interruption. No, it didn't come. Okay, that was.
Have you seen the score for Germany? Have you seen the score for Germany? That's why he's not jumping in.
But I know you can argue it's not an excuse for them not showing anything. But I think with COVID, it's affected everybody. It's affected Sony. It's affected Microsoft. It's certainly affected Ubisoft.
We will talk about that after the Microsoft section.
Ubisoft more than anyone.
Can't wait for that.
But I was happy with the pacing. I was happy with what was shown, even though everything wasn't for me. I don't care about Slime Rancher, but I know people do. And I'm not a complete narcissist to think that everything that is shown should be tailored exactly for me. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just what one of those things are. But in the past, they've kind of been a bit too weird with stuff, or they've shown, we've got 100 games, and you've shown a sizzle reel with like half a second for each game for 75 of them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? It's kind of it's always been off, even though they can brag about numbers. It's always been a little bit off. There's always been something that's not been right. And I think I've heard other podcasters talk about it with the Bethesda effect. I think they've really helped Xbox nail down the format. They've helped them nail down the timing of everything. So I was completely happy with it, and I think one of the highlights for me was when Atomic Heart was shown, and
Daj
just completely lost it. Yeah. So I mean, that's what E3 is about. That's what I want to see from E3. I want to see those moments where people are just like, "Holy crap!" I mean, I would have loved there to be a Splinter Cell thing, and I would have lost it in the same way. And that's what we look forward to. There's been some. I mean, I know we're an Xbox podcast, and people who say you're dunking on Sony, but Sony's last E3 was horrendous. Starting off in a barn and then having a 15-minute intermission so the journalists could walk from one place to another, and that was absolutely. To be honest with you, I don't really mind that. You know what I mean? It's I don't think real music should be in these kind of things. We're here to see the games. I'm not here to see an orchestra play or whatnot.
To play guitar.
You understand the kind of things like Game Awards. That's fair enough. That's a little bit
Yeah,
different.
no. That's.
Yeah,
I mean,
but not
I mean,
a game showcase. That's different.
I did actually think it was really cool when Sony started off with an orchestra. I
Yeah,
can't remember what game.
The
it
best
was
time
for.
it was God of War. God of War.
God of War. Yeah, that was
Perfect.
amazing. That was really, really good. Just to start with that and then bring it in, that was amazing. But to have somebody playing an instrument halfway through is, I think it's a little bit off key. It kind
Are
of.
you referring to Ghost of Tsushima flute
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, I mean,
the thing is, though, is
Yeah.
the thing is he's like, what made me laugh
he's an
about that is like,
authority. He's an authority
loads of
in them.
people are like, why isn't he Japanese and stuff? And he's like one of the masters of like that
Yeah, yeah.
instrument in the world and stuff.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's like like you said, he's a genuine like authority and like living master of that instrument. And people were
Yeah.
like, it's kind of like the acceptance of like a business card with two hands and stuff like that. There's
Yeah.
very and you can see why Japanese executives thought that was like brilliant, but it obviously it didn't like resonate, did it, with like the Western world that was watching, where people were just like, why is there like why is there a bloke from Big Trouble in Little China playing a flute on the And that's just tongue in cheek. I'm not like disrespecting the master flute player, by the way. But I can see the Japanese like executives in Sony Japan seeing that as like a really poignant moment and obviously played the instrument really well. But as you say, it's like a disconnect, isn't it, to the pace of like the event.
And
Yeah,
your
I mean,
best friend Jim Ryan, how did he think about it?
Jim loved it.
No, but I mean, it's like Xbox is equally as guilty of having these really
Done that before.
weird,
Yeah.
like
The
they
multiplayer
build
segments
up.
where they've had like Snoop Dogg and things on stage. It's like,
Yeah, it's
The
just
only
like
bit, yeah, you're right.
But he's promoting Xbox a lot, right? Snoop
oh
Dogg,
yeah,
so.
yeah. Snoop Dogg loves Xbox and hates it individually at the same time. Like
Oh, it's more EA. It's more EA. He hates.
No,
No,
only
he
bit-
was one of the three who
Yeah.
got the actual Series X fridge, the
Yeah,
big
it
Yeah.
one.
was.
Oh yeah, the big
Yeah.
one.
but
No,
I
but
mean,
I think Shomb is right. What was their format that they had inside Xbox or something? What was it called? These 30-minute shows that they had,
sat
where
on a
they,
couch.
yeah, where they always focused on cool people moderating the entire event, personalities moderating it, and the focus wasn't there, and that's completely gone. And to be honest, it was gone last year. It was gone this year. Even with the Paris show, it was very
well
well
done.
paced.
It was
Yeah.
clean and it was concise.
Yeah, Paris did a
Paris,
brilliant job. didn't
they need to hire him.
Yeah.
They do need to hire him for.
It's a massive
but-
thing for the community, that, as well. As a side note, that is just absolutely huge. Like Paris started off where the likes of us have started.
Yeah, he started off with, I think it was two. Oh, what was his first podcast he did? It's like
Game
Two
Attack
Angry
Radio,
Sort-
right?
No. He did something before that. It was like two old gamers
Oh.
or two angry gamers or something like that. And then the guy he was doing it with, it just didn't work out. They were still friends, but they weren't consistent with it. And then he joined Danny at Game Attack, and it's kind of
Kenya.
evolved from there. Yeah, but it's not just because of Game Attack Radio. I mean, that's kind of put him in the limelight, but he's been pushing hard. I mean, I've seen people say things about Paris which aren't particularly nice, and calling him a shill and whatnot. But when I was listening to Game Attack, he flat out said, "I've sold my Xbox. They offer me nothing. I'm going PC, and until they offer me something, I'm staying on my PC." And they have offered him something, and he's come back, and he's he sings and shouts about it because they've offered him what he wants.
Yeah.
Exactly what you should do. Exactly what you should. I want to get into the next before we kind of cover off the remaining, because thankfully the other showcases weren't as prominent and didn't show much, so it's quite easy to cover them. But before we do,
Good show.
yeah, before we do, I want to get and find out the particular highlight of the Xbox Bethesda showcase for every one of you. Starting with Vin, what was your standout moment from the Xbox Bethesda? Dare I ask, or do we already know? Are you wearing the T-shirt?
Yeah. As much as I love Halo and I love Forza, The moment, it was like the fourth game show.
Yeah.
I think on the show, and you had this, the scene with Jack Sparrow in the dock. Yeah, fucking brilliant. I was sold then. That's it. The show was completely, perfect for me. It's with
You
that was
promised to
really the highlight.
cosplay as Jack Sparrow tonight on camera. Where's your suit?
I have I can send you a picture. I have a suit because my son
No,
is a
you
huge.
should have done it live. You should have sat there as Jack on the screen.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we don't have a donate button yet, Chris. No, I have a pirate suit. My son is a huge pirate fan, and last year we had at his birthday, we had this pirate party. So everybody, that's a lot of friends and stuff and family all came dressed up as as pirates to
Oh,
his
that's awesome.
birthday.
Amazing.
but that's
Yeah,
cool.
that was really fun. I will send you the picture, Chris. It's really fun.
I think you should get that done sometime. Next Sea of Thieves stream. Sit and dress up as Jack Sparrow. Well, definitely.
I don't have Jack Sparrow outfit. I can borrow it from Captain Clueless. Maarten. He's
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the patrons. He has the real suit, so I can borrow it from him. He has the same size as me.
Awesome.
No,
Each one of us
can do
could
that.
come on as like a TV or film theme. Red Dwarf, Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. Oh, right, wait. Hier is Super Gabber. Hier. Ruben van der Meer.
Dutch coming on as Ragnar.
Yes, straight on as Ragnar. Just put a tattoo on the side of my head. Sorted.
Yeah.
Tatcha, what was
that
your
was really nice.
highlight? What was your highlight of Xbox Bethesda show?
The game that's playing now on the stream, Forza Horizon 5, of course. I didn't expect it at all, to be honest. But I saw the first 5 seconds and I was like, "This, are you kidding me? Forza Horizon 5," and I went through the roof, seriously. So yeah, this is one of the games that I've been waiting for so long. So yeah, seriously, I cannot wait to play it, but I'm also looking forward to play with you guys, online, because on Forza Horizon 4 I missed that. Yeah, I pretty missed that we're not playing all together. Like
We
should be
did the
fun.
Super 7, Pat. We did the Super 7. We did the Super 7 together.
Yeah, but that's for how long? 2 days. It was over. So no,
We need to play a little bit more
I really
together.
cannot wait. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
We also we still need to make Steve and Drew legend.
Yeah, and Chris. Gotta get Chris up there as well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's playing with Jim Ryan. He's playing with Jim Ryan.
People are gonna run with this. Like, I'm mates with Jim Ryan now. It's like they run with anything. It's like like me and Jim, like that. It's my uncle.
Like that, yeah.
You can block them. You block a lot.
Jim Ryan Grannell.
You can block them.
Last name's Grannell. It's not Ryan.
Grannell.
Middle name.
Grannell.
Grannell, as I've been called now. So.
Yeah, he's now Dutch.
Hey, but Finn, getting back on on the beginning of the show, because you said you didn't expect anything from Sea of Thieves. A few weeks before E3, they showed the Bethesda dinner kind of picture with the games.
Yeah.
You saw the character of Sea of Thieves. I knew that for sure something was coming for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, of
I
course.
don't know.
There
I
was
had the
some.
feeling,
Pat, of course, there was going to be an update. The game has almost 30 million players, right? So
Yeah.
It will be shown, of course. But I never expected it to be a collaboration with Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the
yeah,
surprise,
that's
isn't it? It's
That's the
like,
thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
not
that
Johnny
made it
Depp's
so-
voice. It's not
It's
Johnny
not his
Depp's
voice.
voice.
No.
Yeah.
None of the cast.
Oh,
No,
that's-
no.
it's an actor.
No, it's like
It's
a
true.
fake fella. And the
Oh, he
mocap
does really
was
good
done,
then.
yeah, the mocap was done by I think like a mixture of like a stunt double for Johnny Depp and Pirates of the Caribbean and one of the rare fellas was doing some of the
But
mocap.
oh, and the other voice, like Bricks and stuff, are they also fake then?
I don't think it's any of the cast.
Yeah, I
I
don't
know
think it's any of them.
It's definitely not Johnny Depp because they sacked him.
Yeah. No, they're all just other actors. They're not actually people.
Really?
They're a bit,
Yeah,
too
yeah.
expensive as well.
Wow. Okay. The
Yeah,
voices were
they're
just
very
like,
good, to be fair, yeah.
yeah,
Very good, yeah.
Would have been expensive.
Chris, what was your highlight of the Xbox Bethesda showcase?
So I think for me, so obviously like Forza and Halo and the usual. Really excited by Forza, and so much so I actually started playing Forza 4 again. But just doing photo mode stuff really because it's amazing. But I think for me was a cheeky little game that appeared called Replaced, and it was like the cyberpunk. We thought it was like the last night when it was on, but it was like the
Yeah.
cyberpunk side scroller. So I've been looking into the developer and kind of watching them closely on Twitter and stuff, and I just think it looks phenomenal. I think it's kind of like appeared from nowhere. I know it's I think don't know whether it's full exclusive or timed exclusive, but there's certainly an Xbox console exclusive. I'm not sure whether that may not have been one of the games coming to Game Pass. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just think that looks awesome. I just think
No,
the
it's good
art
to get
style
your
looks great. Yeah, cool.
Battlefield, Far Cry, and what was the other one? Because there was 3, wasn't there?
Yeah, Battlefield, Far Cry,
Dying Light
and...
2.
No. Diablo.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
oh yeah, Diablo, yeah.
Yeah, they're the 3. Okay.
Yeah, so it just looks awesome. I think the art style's right up my street. I think the gameplay looks great. I think there's obviously like a combat or gameplay mechanic where the kind of cameras tilting, as stuff's happening and things like that. But they look to be like a really talented developer. So that's not to say, I think there was loads of stuff in the show that like really looked good and stood out, and I can't wait to play. But that's one that I've kind of attached myself to, like following them on Twitter, seeing updates, looking at the website and stuff, and I just think it looks an absolutely awesome game. I can see that being obviously if the gameplay and the finished articles as good as it looks, I can see that being one of those kind of cult classic games where if it is exclusive, then other people will wish for it to come to their platform, so to speak. So
Or have petitions. They will sign petitions.
Archie, what was your highlight of the Xbox Bethesda showcase?
Well, I could also name, of course, the usual suspects, Halo or Forza, Starfield, of course. But there were actually 2 things. One isn't a game, one is a moment, and that was the very beginning of the show. There was Todd Howard coming on stage, and I thought this was a brilliant messaging that nobody seems to talk about afterwards. They talked about how he said, well, it's going to be exclusive and stuff. I think the bigger message was he came out and said, we at Xbox are celebrating our 20th anniversary. I think this is a super strong statement to open up the Bethesda and Xbox showcase. We at Xbox from Todd Howard are celebrating. I really liked that. I thought, yeah, they are going to nail that show. That was just an awesome moment. Game wise, I really liked the Outer Worlds 2 trailer. I watched that trailer like 5 times. So funny.
It is, yeah.
But I think Stalker 2 is the one that really stood out to me. I absolutely loved the first games on PC back in the days. I am a super fan of the Metro series. Replaying it right now, and Stalker 2 just hits all those notes. It's this open world-ish shooter and with a cool setting. The graphics or the production quality looks awesome. I can't wait to play that.
Awesome stuff. And Steve, I know you were like, damn it!
It steals my one all the time.
But what was yours? Obviously, we know now Stalker 2 was primarily the highlight. So I'll ask you the same thing. But if obviously, I'd imagine there's a couple of games. Of course, Stalker 2 was the pin. Well, but is there anything else that really stood out to you as going, yeah, that is awesome?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Stalker 2 for pretty much the same reasons as Boxenberger is that we're both. It's funny that we're both going through the Metro exodus, and it does have that vibe because there is that strong link with the developers being I think it's Metro developers were formerly of the Stalker franchise, and the game looks phenomenal. It looks amazing. It looks great, and then you get to that scene where all the electric's going up. I can't remember where it is, but anyway, yeah, you know, the bit with the electric, and it was just like we all were just like, holy crap, that looks amazing. But other games, I think, like Chris said, the Replaced look great. I think we were chatting at the time saying that I said that I thought it was last night, but maybe the guy had gone back to the drawing boards a little bit because we haven't heard anything from it.
Yeah.
So I thought that's what it was. And the other indie game from one of the guys that used to work for the Inside developers.
Yeah, Somerville.
Because I loved Inside and what's the other one?
Inside and Limbo.
Limbo.
Was it?
Yeah. I love
Which is coming back to Game Pass, isn't it?
Oh,
I think it's Game Pass on cloud now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But yeah, I loved both of those games.
They were awesome.
So
And they are actually working on a new game as well, which hasn't been announced yet.
They just do this really weird, creepy, really well.
Yes,
they do. Yeah.
It's an unsettling creepy.
Inside.
I think they're doing some
was
type of
really
space
good.
thing. No, I think the new game is kind of set around like space or
like an
something.
alien
I think if you look
invasion
at the
type of
website.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, awesome picks. My personal, again, I could rattle off the same as else. Stalker 2 looks phenomenal. Somerville looks really interesting. Can't wait for that. Obviously, Forza Horizon 5 was just an absolute marvel to look at. Like, personally, if you can't be excited for what Playground can do with Table based on what they showed Forza Horizon 5.
And the Forza Horizon 5 is the older engine, though.
Yeah, that's like the new engine.
Engine's going to be the new engine. Oh my god.
Which I'm guessing they'll be working on to actually be able to do stuff within the Fable universe rather than trying to shoehorn that into a predominantly racing type engine.
My prize one for me, and I'm big on RPG, Japanese Chronicles, and follow-up game double announced at the same time. Now that game looked like straight away give Octopath Traveler vibes, like the art style and everything like that. But it was Octopath Traveler in terms of the, but then 2D kind of anime characters. He had art style, but it looked absolutely awesome, and I like the 3D battlefield type of thing for the taste. That one, and I was surprised about that. So that one kind of out to me. Again, another indie title that I wasn't expecting. Of course, shout outs to the nice sneaky Top Gun Maverick announcement for Flight Sim.
Oh yeah.
Took us
awesome.
by
I got a little bit too giddy for that. I was just kind of like, that's Top Gun? Top Gun!
The other one, quickly I forgot. Sorry, was a Plague Tale Requiem or whatever. It was a little sneaky.
I still need to finish a Plague Tale one.
You may as well wait because you've got that lovely juicy patch coming.
Yeah, but what does the juicy patch do? Just 4K?
4K 60.
No, 60. 60 as well.
Okay.
And enhanced graphical kind of addition. So they've kind of added better fidelity.
I'm going to play through it again when the patch comes out, just to.
I'll probably play through it again.
Get me in the mood for Requiem again.
But yeah, no, what Drew was saying with I don't even know how to say that name. Something. Yeah. I know for a fact my younger brother will be picking that up on Game Pass. He'll get Game Pass for PC just for that because he's a huge Sudoku fan. In fact, his gamer tag. Have you ever played Sudoku?
Sudoku.
Sudoku. Yeah, I don't know the correct pronunciation.
It's
better.
Game, but I'll just pronounce it differently.
Yeah, but it's better than how some of the Americans I've heard say it. I've heard some people completely.
They call it Sudoku.
It's almost like they're going to say Sudoku, but then it's like.
Yeah, I have to take this for the Queen. I'm sorry, it's her favorite game from the Roxy Babe. You know, it's her favorite game ever. So I had to.
All right, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, There's a character that's reoccurring. You can play him in the first one, but he appears in the second, and I think he's in the third. Called Clive, and that was basically my younger brother's gamer tag was Sudoku Clive.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I seen Flea play it on stream. It looked interesting, to be honest, and I liked what they showed at the E3 about
Yeah,
the game.
no, it's something. In fact, that was probably the last JRPG that I actually played and completed. Was the second one. It was a really good game, yeah. But yeah, it's this whole thing about you collect, like you can have over like 100 odd characters that you have to collect, but
Yeah.
some are missable.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
hardcore my little brother is. I think he's collected every single character in all the games that he's been able. There's one game you can't get because it's Japanese only. But yeah, he's completely maxed out all of them many
Wow.
times.
Nice.
It's the same with Bex, the Roxy babe. She knew everything till when Flea was
but-
streaming the game.
Yeah, my brother's
Uh,
like an encyclopedia on it.
Yeah.
You can just ask him and just like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, yeah, okay.
we have the same brother then. But my brother is the same with the Breath of Fire and Final Fantasy and all the RPG stuff.
I used to love them growing up. I don't know why. I think just because with JRPGs they consume so
Lot of
much of your time,
Yeah.
and it was just a case of as you get older, you have your own money, therefore you can buy your own games, and more. There was just more stuff coming out than I could physically consume. So that you're talking at least 70 to 80 hours for
But is it-
a good RPG.
But Juice X is also RPG, right? Or not?
What is?
Juice X, the game you played on stream. last time.
The first one was a turn-based. Was it strategy? Or was it RPG?
I seen you play on stream. I thought it was an RPG.
No,
to be honest.
JRPG. No. Well, it's RPG like Deus Ex and stuff like that is RPG like. They're RPG in terms of that you can upgrade and you can level up, but the hardcore RPGs that my brother likes are the ones
yeah.
where there's proper strategies to stuff. You put certain things on, you have to have certain weapons and certain abilities that you precast to make sure that X and Y doesn't happen. It's
Yeah,
really, really technical.
JRPG is enough for me.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
just-
it. Even the Final Fantasies, the earlier Final Fantasies, could be as complex as you want them to be, or you could just be like the brute force and ignorance, like I would do, just trying to like smash, oh heal, smash. You know what I mean? Whereas there'd be people who like precast stuff, precast things and pre-consume herbs and stuff to make sure that they're not in the position where they're just kind of go, oh fuck, I need to heal. Oh no, I haven't got turns, and it's just like.
Oh, you can also do it like I did on Dragon Quest. Just to have a day walking around. Just fighting, leveling up, and then continue the story, so you don't die.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the brute force and ignorance bit. Overpower yourself, so when you actually get to the things, you're just like, yeah.
That's what I did with Dragon Quest.
We will go on to our next topics, which is summary and kind of quick overview of our thoughts on the rest of the. Now, none of us really followed the. But there wasn't much to come out.
I did.
Yeah, Archie did.
I
so I'm gonna-
watched it at least. So
I'm gonna throw it over to Archie
I
then.
brought it.
I know about the announcements. I didn't watch it, but I watched the kind of games that come off the back of it afterwards. But Archie, what are your overall feelings on the Nintendo showcase, and what was shown? Kind of give you anything to look forward to, or do you think a little bit of a disappointment?
The later one, it was a little disappointment. Leave the little away. It wasn't a good show in my opinion. I know a lot of people thought, oh, the Nintendo won the show, and I was thinking, did we watch the same thing? It was basically announcement
It was
after
PlayStation.
announcement.
It was
Pardon me?
PlayStation fans.
Yeah. It was announcement after announcement of old games that get a remake. Then there was one thing in there that was the Metroid game, the Metroid announcement. was really surprised to see that in there because that game has been announced like what 15 years ago, something like that, on the
No, no,
DS.
that's Metroid Prime 4, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not talking about Metroid Prime 4. That would have been awesome. No, I think it was at the early days of the Nintendo DS. They announced actually that game, and now it came back. It comes out this year. It doesn't look to me like a full price title, but it will be. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably still the biggest announcement of the show. And well, and then they closed it, of course, with a little teaser for Breath of the Wild. Not really showing gameplay, something that, especially when you announce or show it or announce it for the second time, should be there in my opinion. And it's probably just me because I know I'm alone with that opinion. I still don't see why Breath of the Wild is such a masterpiece. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I love the series, but this wasn't a Zelda game. That was an open world game, and the open world was, in my opinion, not so good. There wasn't
Little bit
really
empty,
much
wasn't
in
it?
there.
It was
It
like
was
an early
empty.
Ubisoft game, wasn't it? when like
In
it's
a
like when
Ubisoft, at
Ubisoft
least you
announced
have
like a
something
new
to
IP.
do. But
Yeah,
in that world, you didn't really have something to do, and the
yeah.
charm of the Zelda game, which is always kind of Metroidvania-like, yeah, that you need a certain gadget to get into the next temple, that was all gone, and that's just what makes Zelda a Zelda game. And it was still not a bad game, yeah. I would give it an 8 or 8.5 or something like that. But it's not that masterpiece. So I wasn't overly excited about a Breath of the Wild 2. And so the entire show, yeah, I was thinking, where's the good stuff from Nintendo? I know that a lot of these Japanese announcements are something for some people, but I want to see a proper Zelda presentation. I want to see Metroid Prime 4. I want to see a new Mario Kart or something like that. Something from Nintendo, and they didn't give me anything outside of the Metroid game, which I'm probably not going to buy day one because
I mean,
I'm
probably won't
waiting
buy
for a
it for
sale on
several
that.
years because it's they don't put that stuff on sale for a very, very long
Yeah.
time.
Could be indeed, yeah. But other than that, yeah, there wasn't just something in there for me.
I mean, that was a good summary of it, to be honest. I think anybody who caught the show, that pretty much summarizes it. And thank Archie did watch the entire thing live, so he had the better opportunity to give an opinion on that than we did. Personally, I was exactly the same. I thought, on the fact that they Zelda Breath of the Wild, and the feedback from what that was the fact that, sorry, well, Breath of the Wild, but Zelda 2, whatever the new expansion slash follow up to that is, didn't look any different to first one. It didn't, and everybody that was the feedback they gave. It didn't look like it had advanced or changed or got any better than Breath of the Wild. It just like more of the same. And then Metroid, like you mentioned, instead of showing Metroid 4, they decided to go down some side-scrolling 2 platformer that nobody really expected or wanted, but here we go. Then, like you mentioned, it's a price game. It's not for alternative. That they've got to contend. Didn't show else. And like you say, after that, it was that were coming that have already been on other platforms, and bit of a disappointment, and certainly not what we expect from them. We'll go to the other disappointment. Soft.
Alex is what the Steve.
Yeah. This
Let's
time,
call it the show of missed opportunities.
the only good thing to come out of that, and I think the hand was forced by Disney, in my opinion, was showing off Avatar and kind of more of a understanding of what that
Yeah.
game will be. That's the most exciting thing I got from that. And I was actually going, oh yeah, awesome! Like I'm actually looking forward to playing Avatar, and I can't. That's going to be about. Learn it's a first-person game as well. I'm really excited to see what's that about, and I think have promoted that more than they have. I don't know all their social channels and things like that, but Soft really haven't. But Chris, you were sitting there live with me and John
Mhm.
watching this atrocity happen. What was your thoughts on the Ubisoft show?
I think Archie summed it well. I think it's a missed opportunity. So Ubisoft have always been like one of those publishers and developers where they kind of take chances or they like release nice like interesting IP and stuff. And I'm going all the way back to like the original like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. I was into kind of Rainbow Sixes and all of that kind of old catalog. Your Splinter Cells and stuff, which I'm sure Shom will go into. But it just seemed really weird and weak, and it's kind of like this. I get this kind of publishers and developers are trying to, well, publishers more, are trying to create this like diverse catalog and stuff. But I think like like learning to play guitar as a game, and you like the Just Dance stuff, which I know is like popular and stuff around like a certain like demographic and age group and things like that. But it's like, what the hell happened to like the Prince of Persia remake? We know it kind of got pushed back and stuff like that, but give us an update because it was kind of
that looked rough.
yeah, it got pushed back on this like on the kind of on quality and so on and so forth. And to be fair, I think the worrying thing with that is that it was kind of like a new Ubisoft studio, and I'm not sure whether I'm not saying the people there aren't like talented, but I'm not sure. You have a new studio, like a real kind of, the nucleus of a new studio. You want to kind of drop a few key like talented individuals in there to kind of help them. And I think it did. It looked like a very kind of poor last gen game. So I mean, there could have been an update on that. Just to say, look, this is what we're trying to address, but there was like nothing on like Beyond Good and Evil 2 is just, I think it was just a myth. I think that was just like a tech demo that they made like years
Is
ago.
that still in development?
No one knows. It's like,
No idea.
and it looked awesome. It was kind of like that cross
Yeah.
between Fifth Element, and it had like these cities in the sky and stuff like that. But like nothing about that. There's nothing about. I wasn't expecting anything on like an Assassin's Creed or anything because we're still in the midst of the current one. But yeah, I think it was just a massive missed opportunity, just like really poor, like low energy. I think we really struggled, didn't we, on the stream? Like
but
really
the
struggled, and I think a lot of people did.
and the pirate game they were making, that is that Skulls and
Skull and
Bones or
Bones,
something?
yeah,
Skull and Bones,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's on
Is
hold
that
as well, isn't
cancelled
it?
or is that also
No, I think it got pushed back, didn't it? But no one knows
again?
why.
No,
There was
Okay.
a
why or
rumor a couple of months ago that they started the development all over again last
Yeah.
year. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but yeah.
It
It
would
would make
surprise-
sense because that game had. I was going to say it would make sense because there wasn't much to the game. Like
No.
it,
But it's not just
it-
that. It was based off the Assassin's Creed
Black Flag.
Black Flag.
Black Flag, and it's like that game hasn't aged well in terms of the sea travel in it.
Yeah.
And to
The
then
funny
base
thing
a
is,
whole
but
game
that
on
game
that.
was playable at
It was-
Gamescom
yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Black Flag was I thought Black Flag was like like a really good Assassin's Creed game. Like I
Yeah.
enjoyed Black
Oh,
Flag.
no,
so,
it
like
was.
based
The
on-
best one.
Yes.
Yeah, so like base
Yeah.
and stuff on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. And this is just pure speculation. This is just me going off on pure speculation. But don't forget, like Ubisoft are like one of those publishers who will try and tie up like licenses and stuff. Obviously, we've seen Avatar and so on and so forth. And it wouldn't surprise me if Ubisoft were almost trying to do like a Pirates of the Caribbean thing with that, with that product. You could see them having a vision of like, oh, we'll create this like Skull and Bones universe or whatever, and then we'll flip it into Pirates of the Caribbean, or we'll do this, that, the other. And
They're a bit late,
I
right? They're a bit late.
yeah, I just wonder whether they like, they got wind of that, and it's kind of like pun intended. It's like taking the wind out of their sails, and they've not been able to like position it in such a way where it's like Skull and Bones is then going to be this like movie franchise. It's then going to be this one and this one, especially when they're already doing stuff for like Disney. I think it'd be really hard to bring out like a pirate game to go head to head with Sea of Thieves. And I know people were saying, "Oh, it'll be realistic," and and stuff. But I think that's the charm of Sea of Thieves is the fact that
It isn't
it's got that
realistic.
character and stuff
Yeah.
to it. Yeah,
But
you can
isn't it
exaggerate.
possible? Isn't it possible? Like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, is based on Vikings. You see it in all the characters and stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe they're planning to do Black Sails.
They've
There's
done
the
a
TV
Pirate
show.
Caribbean one though. They've done one
Yeah.
set in the Caribbean. So
No?
it'd be going back to the same era.
I mean, that's
They have,
it.
they have a story. They have a story then, with the Johnny
Don't forget,
Silver.
like Skull and Bones is supposed to be their kind of like MMO. It's their Sea of Thieves, isn't it? And I think you've got. I think when it wouldn't surprise me if they started to do something with that when Sea of Thieves was being devved or something. We've seen it time and time again. People will often kind of dev the same like genres or ideas and stuff. It's just a fact
Yeah.
of life. And I think now the traction that Sea of Thieves has got, like Ubisoft have got a difficult decision now. Do they continue along the path that they were going in terms of like this big pirate MMO and try to pull all of those monthly active users into their game from Sea of Thieves, or are people so invested in Sea of Thieves that they're going to have difficulty with it? So I think it starts to come down to like business decisions, and you're right, Vin. They may turn around and go, actually, let's spin it into a single player game, or this now, or a slightly
Yeah.
different idea, or what? Because it's harder. It's not insurmountable, but it's very difficult to kind of play catch up and try and pull all of those active users from someone else's game.
Yeah, but that's impossible, right? I mean, if you spend, I spend too much time, but if you have, like an average of what would you say, like 20 days in a game, you ain't wasting all your progress to go to another game, right? It's
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, but this might be if it's the same type of game, then why would you leave? I'm a pirate legend. I have a couple of achievements to go, and I'm just continuing on the progress of all the new DLC coming out. Why would I go to Skull and Bones?
No, exactly, and like where's it going to stop now? Because you saw the interview with the guy from Disney, and Disney
Yeah.
selected Sea of Thieves as much as Sea of Thieves selected Disney because it was the right tone of voice. It was the fact that it wasn't realistic. It lends itself to kind of Pirates of the Caribbean and the characters in that and Jack Sparrow and so on and so forth. And he even mentioned like the tongue-in-cheek comedy aspect of it and things like that. So I just think it's a tricky business situation, and it happens all the time.
And you have an almost 30 million player base, right? It's incredible for an Xbox game, to be honest.
And you watch that grow because of the Pirates of the Caribbean tie-in.
Yeah.
It's like everyone was playing it on like my friends list yesterday. It's like loads of people have jumped on it. So
yeah.
John, what do you make of the?
I mean,
here it comes.
Well, I'll start with the good. I'm looking forward to the Rainbow Six.
Oh yeah,
that looks really interesting.
To be fair,
I'm not quite for. Depends on how big it is. I'm not quite sure whether it's going to be worth full price.
Yeah. I'm not pre-ordering it. I'm certainly not pre-ordering. That's true.
At the end of the day, it seems like it's you might well, if the rumors of Ubisoft joining Game Pass is true, possibly. But yeah, it has evolved from a limited time event that Rainbow Six Siege had, and it does look like a lot of the assets are the same and things like that. So I don't think I can warrant full price of that. If it's short, if it's a in-depth game with 10 to 13 levels or something, then maybe. But if it's like 4 or 5 maps that you're playing over and over again, it's like they haven't put much effort into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that definitely interests me. I'm still trying to think what was at the Ubisoft event. I don't really care about.
Splinter Cell wasn't at Ubisoft event. What wasn't at Ubisoft event?
Again overlooked.
But it's also, you know, even if it's not coming to Game Pass, right? Well, in Holland, it's like Ubisoft games after like 2-3 months, they're on sale.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
But
So, I
I just
mean,
wait 2-3 months, and then I'll get it for like 25 pounds or dollars or whatever you use.
Yeah, last year when Immortals came out, that came out in the first week of December somewhere, and I bought it in the Christmas sale for like 30 euros cheaper. So
yeah. I'll wait
That's insane.
for the winter sales that they have, or the Black Friday sales. But I feel sad for Ubisoft because they were one of the powerhouses of E3, one of the ones aside from Xbox that I was like, yes, I can't wait for this. Now they're treading water with EA. They're becoming a joke. Their last couple haven't been great events, so and they're a good studio, or a good
Publisher.
group of
Publisher.
publisher, yeah. So and it's a shame, but I think this whole kind of, and I've heard this this isn't just my original thought. I've heard lots of other people say that people are fatigued with their style of games. They're all the same, but with a different skin, and it is getting boring. I mean, I like the Assassin's Creed, but I don't think the latest Assassin's Creeds are Assassin's Creeds. I prefer. I like the whole story with the Templars versus the Assassins. I thought that's what I liked about the franchise. Now it's just a historical romp in wherever they want to do, and they could have made another franchise out of that rather than calling it Assassin's Creed, because very little is actually associated to the Assassins. They kind of shoehorn the beginning bit in the Animus, and then they take you out to give a bit of story, and then you can go look at a computer and somebody's emails to then get the link to the Templar, and then it's straight back into the Animus again, and you're just in you're in Egypt, you're in ancient Greece, and they're very good games. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking a dump on the games. They are very good games, but for me, they're not Assassin's Creed games, which is why I'm quite happy that there isn't one coming out this year. But I think that may be due to the guy that was involved, that was basically signed off on all the Ubisoft games, he's gone. So the one that was always pushing for no, it has to be open world, it has to have this, that, and the other. He turned out to be a bit of a scumbag and was fired or was let go.
Oh yeah, he was the one who was loads of accusations against him, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he was the guy that signed off on games, and they had to pass certain criteria. So hopefully now somebody new coming in, you might see a revival of a Splinter Cell, you might see a revival of an original Assassin's Creed. I just want to see more games that aren't huge open worlds, because
original things.
I don't have time, and even if I was to only ever play Ubisoft games, I don't have time.
I mean, you've got to think as well, like one of the things that they created, and I don't know why they haven't made an addition to it. It's such a great little game that they made, and that Child of Light.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Original title, and it was beautiful. It was like the artwork was absolutely. The story was well told. The gameplay was great. That was it. That was the Ubisoft original or something. They've done nothing similar since. Kind of dipped their toes in and went, yeah, that's all right.
That's what I quite like that EA does. That they have these little EA originals.
Like It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. Yeah.
I was about to say that, and the string guy, whatever it's called.
Unravel.
Yeah.
Unravel,
So I really like. I mean, I don't like EA that much, but they give smaller creators a platform. Yeah, they give them a platform, and they give them the money to do what they need to do, and I think that's really good. I think that's good for the industry. It's a little bit of penance for EA, but yeah, like I said, I'm a bit down on Ubisoft. I think they've just really cocked up, and I don't know why it is. I don't even think you can blame it on COVID, because they were like this before COVID. Their shows were slowly getting worse and worse. Since I remember the release of the The Division, when they first announced the trailer, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this looks amazing. I've got to have this. Where there was absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even the avatar at the end was just like, oh, is this? So, I can't remember what game I thought it was. Oh, no, it's not. No, never mind, it's Avatar. And that was it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good summary of those conferences. I know there was Take-Two. Take-Two's conference wasn't anything gameplay. On to cover that.
It was a Zoom call.
Yep. And I do believe Capcom. Archie might be a little bit more clued up on this, but I'm sure they pretty much had something like a 7-minute presentation on one game or something.
Yeah. That was, I don't even recall the name of the game.
Yeah.
That wasn't Square Enix was actually a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, do you mean how bad it was? How bad the games looked? Because I mean, listen, it takes a lot for Digital Foundry to go up on that and say, like, this looks like a PS3.
Oh, was that the big game that all the PlayStation fans were hyping?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
I
was
reckon
surprised
poor
that
Archie's
they-
emotions are watching the football at the minute.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess here. I was so happy with the 1-1, but now, like 2 minutes later,
I think you like the Ubisoft conference better.
Definitely. No, I was just surprised that they come out, announce this game that Star-Lord game. Yeah, it didn't blow me away, but what I see, but it's so atypical to have a single player game with no microtransactions and stuff like that, just to kind of stealth drop like this. And then they showed that what do you call it, DLC or add-on for the Avengers with Black Panther. That looked really cool. So yeah, just wanted to mention it. It wasn't the best thing of E3, but wasn't the worst either.
I think you're right. Guardians of the Galaxy just didn't do anything for me, and I think yeah.
Sorry, Marion. Yeah, it's I know Marion's quite hyped for that, but
Oh, is it?
It's
just the gameplay just looks like really boring and stuff, and I think what makes Guardians of the Galaxy what it is like, obviously the actors and like
the same that put me off the Avengers.
The humor and everything, yeah.
Same that put me
and
off
then
the
you've just got
Avengers
some
as well.
random Star-Lord. Yeah, it wasn't the people that you recognise, and it's so difficult to like connect.
Click, connect when none of them look like the characters. You're like, we've got so used to like Chris Pratt and everybody, and all these characters like Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man, and then seeing Iron Man in the Avengers game, and you're like, that's not Iron Man. Like, that looks nothing like Robert Downey Jr.
It's like a bunch of people who like cosplaying, isn't it? You're playing as cosplayers.
Exactly. I understand that they're not going to pay.
So like Twitch.
Obviously, they'd have to pay the likeliness for these characters, and they'd have to pay like essentially appearance fees for all of these to be put in game, and that would be astronomical. But it takes away from it. Really takes away from your immersion when none of the characters look like the characters.
Yeah, I think Chris. It's like Chris has been shopping in B&M bargains, and he finds all the figures of the Avengers.
Yeah. It's all them weird ones and with weird names.
It's like version.
Pieces are melted.
Yeah, it's not Iron Man. It's just Ron Man.
Introducing Thor, God of Thunder.
Thor, yeah. God,
Iron Mill.
What happened to that Capcom game? That it looked quite funky. It didn't have any gameplay, but it was with the astronaut and the little girl.
Magmortar.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
That's 20.
Is that still
that's
in
2020?
Is that...
Yeah, I think it's 2023.
Yeah, it's a while
that
off,
one, isn't it?
Astronaut and little girl.
I'm looking forward to seeing that very much. But again, I don't expect to see anything more of that until probably, if not at some point next year. But yes, guys, we will begin to wrap this up. That was episode 40, believe it or not, of the
Already?
Midweek Mix-Up podcast already. Yeah. Awesome to kind of recap, and thankfully, like I say, one of the major turned up and put on a good show for everybody to enjoy. Hopefully next year things will go up again. It is only just the start. Things are starting to get a little bit better worldwide. Other things going on, but it's nowhere as bad as it was.
Is there a Gamescom?
Yes, I do believe
Is there
there is, but it's
Gamescom?
all
Yeah.
digital. All digital.
So we still
I
might,
guess
we still might see some more stuff from Xbox then.
Oh,
When is that planned, by the way?
In August. Gamescom is end of or middle of August.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we will see something else. Probably not as big of a show as E3 was, of course.
No.
But of course, Gamescom, and then at the end of the year, the Game Awards. And remember that statement that I think it was Matt Booty who said it. That they have basically no gaming event coming up where they don't announce something. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about Tokyo Game Show then? Because I know they're really pressing on Japan.
Could be. I still think we will see a return of XO this year somehow. XO 21 for the 20th anniversary, something like that. There will be a showcase or event or something.
Yes, I think they might host. If they do an XO fan event, I think they might host America because they're very open to having fans in places. Compared to some of the European nations, maybe he's even do it in Mexico or something. But I certainly expect to see an XO. I certainly expect them to do an XO fan event with people by the end of the year. I have to agree.
They should do what the Koreans do with the. My wife loves the K-pop stuff. Yeah, don't get me started on that. But they have like. But they kind of like have the presenters with like loads of people on the screens. Like
yeah. They were doing that with NBA, where they had the courtside screens. People were like, so people were like at the in the court, but just a face.
Rather than the budget version in the UK of the Premiership, and they've just got like almost balloons with people's heads stuck onto them.
Yeah.
But yes, so thank you to everybody again for joining us today and joining us in chat. If you haven't already, please drop a like and share it out. It's completely free and it really helps the channel. Of course, you not help us at the best of times. So your involvement, your help means the world to us. So thank you everybody again for tuning in today. It's been an absolute blast. Let's get straight to the outros. So to, again, our newest panel member, Mr. Hertog Vin. Pleasure to have you on board permanently. And where can people find you and what you're going to be?
It was pleasures all mine. I really enjoyed the show today. And it's good to be back in the show. Really like it. Hope we reach the 1,000 milestone soon. I'll be playing Skies of Arcadia tomorrow again on the Dreamcast. I'm streaming it on Twitch, where you can find me as Hertog or on Twitter. The OnlyFans didn't work out quite well, so I'll stick to Twitch. If I become affiliate, I will do a hot top stream for my friend Chris Grannell.
private.
So you can throw money at me like a cheap hooker.
I said I would chuck a grenade at you in the chat.
Well, people can't see that chat, Chris. So
a lot of holy hand grenades.
Just letting everyone know who's listening that I won't be throwing money at you. I'll be throwing objects at you.
And you can find me on Twitter or on Xbox with game tag is gone. Enix.
There you go.
Or on PlayStation on PlayStation without spaces. You can add me. I'm usually up to gaming with the others. But if there's space, you can always join me or ask me to join. unhappily to make people Pirate Legends, since I'm now in my Sea of Thieves mode today. And that's about it.
Awesome stuff. Patcha, again, pleasure
Yeah,
to have you on, brother. If you let people know where they
always.
can find you and what you're going to be up to on your days off.
I'm first of all, I'm gonna rest. That's one thing I'm gonna do. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch as well, all on the same name, Petchu070. Um, I got some things coming up. I'm not gonna tell everything, but it has something to do with a charity stream. So yeah, keep your eyes open, especially on Twitter, on the channel, because I'm gonna drop a video with a little bit of an explanation of what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that's what I'm planning at the moment. But for now, I'll take a rest, play some games, do some streaming. So yeah, hope the guys hope to see you in the chat. So
Stuff. Yes, look out for that video. We will drop in next few days from Pat, which will explain what this charity stream's all about and who it's for, and obviously for your support. And let's get as much raised as we possibly can when that is announced. And next up, Mr. CG Grannell, as usual. Grannell.
Grannell or whatever they keep calling me now. Yeah.
Harnal.
do you actually know what Grannell is or not?
I've got no idea, have I? Cheers.
Shrimp.
Shrimp.
Oh, there you go. Shrimp.
Jess Corden will love that.
Jess Corden's the shrimp master, not me. I'm kind of. It feels like I've been everywhere this week.
Yes, you have.
Good friend Pong had said like he was kind of like following me on a road trip of podcast.
And Jim
Yeah,
Ryan.
so good old Jim, the Jim Ryan Roadshow. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter, CJ Grannell, normal place if you want to chat, and online gaming, Hard Times UK. I will be playing Sea of Thieves and Chivalry 2, no doubt, and whatever else. Taking
Is
photos
it
in
on-
Horizon 4.
Is it on Twitch, Chris?
Is one on Twitch? Me?
You where you streaming?
No. Oh no, I don't
Oh.
stream. I just play games, and if you want to come and join me, then feel free. Yeah.
Oh,
I-
okay, sorry.
I'm too busy. I haven't got all the free time like you have to stream in your hot tub.
Free time. I work my fucking ass off. Here, look. I don't need that.
You'll be the prawn if you stream in your hot tub too long.
I don't have a hot tub yet. You need to donate my money.
We'll donate a turned on toaster.
Yep.
Into a hot tub.
Yeah, he'll donate a toaster into a hot tub.
Yeah. I'll donate a flat screen telly straight into the water.
You love me. You love me, Chris. You don't.
Basically, you'll get electrocuted and die if I donate a telly into your water.
No, you love me. You won't do that. You love me.
You'll just put
Clearly
loads
just
of
said he
shrimp.
would.
Put loads of shrimp into his hot tub.
Yeah, I'll put loads of frozen shrimp into there. We're gonna take this into the private chat, and we're gonna put an end to this shrimp nonsense.
He's gonna
Same way.
hide a dead fish in one of the filters.
No. I see what happens. It's like Shom didn't want to be referred to a certain person, and now you've all kind of moved on to me now. You Dutch boys are like a little group of school kids, aren't you? Just like
Bullies, aren't they? Pick me.
moving on to the next person.
No, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you, Chris.
Next up, Archimedes, who will be a little bit slightly happier now, unless anything's happened in the last few moments.
It's still 2-2?
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, 86th minute.
You let people know where they can find you and what you've got coming up. I know you've been putting out videos like an absolute man on fire. So If you let people know where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, people can find me basically everywhere at Boxenberger. Of course, on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, and most certainly here on YouTube. Like you said, doing a lot for the channel. I have a good pipeline of games coming, videos coming, because
Games?
there
I
are
was gonna
games
say.
coming.
It's just going to be a secret dev.
Splinter Cell.
That would make Shom very happy. Got a lot of things coming. I've uploaded this week, 2 days ago, a video on basically the game roadmap of Xbox for the next years. I've never done so much editing in a video before, but I think it was worth it because it is a good visualization of what is coming over the next months and years. And the channel's been fun. And yeah, if you're interested in this kind of content, definitely check the channel out. Otherwise, thank you for having me. It's always a blast here to hang with you guys and of course the amazing chat. So yeah, thanks and have a good one, guys.
Thank you, Archie.
Thank you.
And last but not least, of course, Shomberlon, or otherwise known as Holly from Red Dwarf.
Shrimp or shell?
Let
Shrimp
people-
or
What?
shell?
Oh, shrimp for sale. Yeah, you can find me under Holly 3 million years in the future.
Shrimp yourself.
If you're gonna
Chat.
if you're gonna find me as Shomberlon, you can find me under that on Twitter, which I normally lurk than bother writing in. And PlayStation and Xbox under the same name.
What are you going to be up to over? Any specific games? Is it diving more into Sea of Thieves?
I'll probably be diving into Sea of Thieves more. Probably. I still need to finish. I'm getting through Metro on the hardest setting, which is a pain in the ass. I've only got out the second area because it's just like you die so quick. And I'm trying to do the bad ending as well, get the achievement for the bad ending. So it's not a case of I can avoid everybody. I have to kill people. So yeah, and I don't know. Is there anything coming out? I was going to give that.
Scarlet Nexus.
I'm not really. Is that in Game Pass?
No.
No. I'm not going to be buying anything that I'm not really convinced by. What else was there? I was going to do that. What's that? Is it Dungeons and Dragons? That
Dark
game?
Alliance, yeah. I've heard it's okay. To be honest, I heard it isn't as terrible as people have initially claimed it to be, and it's on Game Pass, so it's always worth trying.
I'll have a
go there.
Solo,
I'll play that.
Yep.
So solo, it's pretty hard, right? You need to have a group. That's what I got from it.
I'll
supposed to be
have a
good fun,
dabble with that. I'll have a dabble with that. And probably a bit more Zombie Army because I'm going through that with a friend that I've not played with in a while. He's finally got a Series X. I've not played with him in almost a decade now, and he came back. Actually, no, that's actually probably about 8 years. 8 years was the last time I properly played with him. He used to be my Left 4 Dead crew.
Oh, Left 4 Dead, yeah.
So,
Back 4 Blood.
Yeah, so I'll be probably running through that with him. It's good to catch up with somebody you've not played with in a while. So I'll probably be doing a bit of that as well.
And last but not least, guys, of course, you can find me on Twitter at WandrinDutch and right here on the WandrinDutch YouTube channel. Occasionally, no more here. Occasionally, you can find me on Twitch when I some gameplay. Otherwise, it's usually I find it a lot easier. But of course, you will see me again next week on Wednesday. Apologies, very last minute put on here, but the shows will go ahead as usual with panel members for. However, of course, I do have got to come myself. I get round to editing them out, so look out for that as well when they drop.
Oh.
Yes, go on.
After,
Go on.
before we leave, you have
Yes.
the giveaway, right, for the 1,000 subs
Yes.
for Scarlet Nexus and Ratchet & Clank.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so when we get to 1,000 subs, and I have said, obviously I've got the video up too, but follow the panel members on this show. So that's myself, Finn, Pat, Erwin, Shomberlon, Boxenberger, and CJ Grannell. Make sure you're following all of us and subscribe to the channel to be
and before we leave,
yes, go on.
And I would like to add to that I will be paying a custom PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X controller made by WandrinDutch. I will pay for it. So I will add a third price to it. If we reach 1,000 subs, then it's the custom controller made by the hero himself, WandrinDutch. He's making a Skyscraper controller for me now. But after that, you can win a controller made by the hero himself.
Nice.
I will pay for it. I will pay for it.
Yeah, that's a mega prize. And we both know how much that usually costs. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I bought two from you, so.
Yeah. That's absolutely awesome. So yes, yeah, it will be a copy of Ratchet and Clank, and a copy of Scarlet Nexus, and a custom controller, either on PlayStation 5 or Xbox, depending on your preferred platform. So
or Switch, whatever
or Switch.
You make.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth
really
worth
nice.
a subscription now, surely.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Yeah.
So when we
share it,
hit that 1,000 mark, all three of those things will be going to one of you awesome fans. So make sure you share this out, because the quicker we get there, the quicker one of you lucky people are going to get their hands on or one of those awesome games. So again, thank you very much for everybody joining us. Hope you have an awesome rest of the week and weekend for your gaming, and we will see you again next time. Goodbye, everybody.
See you guys
Take care,
later.
all.
Bye bye.